Hey everybody. Hey Scott. Hey Sinistella. Hey Blub. Yeah, I think I just saw your message. It was like 666 hours watched. Wow. I'm very flattered, Blub. Yeah, so it's a surprise Tuesday stream. I kind of mentioned yesterday I might do this, and I looked through my tasks for today, and I'm a little bit stuck on PRs because I'm waiting for something else. So I'm gonna look through these things, and then we're gonna move on to the enchanter. And the enchanter represents another large chunk of work. I think there are 5 between now and mid-January, so getting one of them done would be great. J Rock, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back. Welcome back. Am too. Hey Dark. Is it Wednesday already? Is it Wednesday time? Yeah, so let's get started. I want to be productive today. So this is 100% worth fixing. In fact, we should probably fix both of these bugs. And I think Darkstorm filed one of them, and I don't remember where it is. This, right here. So we're going to try to fix both of these right now, I think. Make sure this is fixed too. Yeah. What's my height? Check out the height command. We had a company-wide wellness day today, yesterday. What did that mean? Did it mean you didn't have work? Or does it mean you had to exercise or something? I know it's very disappointing, Scott, but there is a command for it at least. All right, simply turning off auto battle is enough to get this thing to break. Let's go try that out. Also, am I on main? No, I'm not. Although I think the bug is everywhere. But we should probably be on main. So let's go do that. There we go, and rerun. Oh, and also probably reopen this. All right, that should do it. Just another day off once a quarter. I mean, that's pretty good. Oh, wait, what's wrong with my camera? Those happened every once in a while during the pandemic when I was at Google. I don't know what's going on with this. Why is it not refocusing? Hang on a second. Let me set this to use the same camera as this, and then try setting it back. Maybe that'll fix it. No, it's still super. Man. What is going on? Do I need to like unplug this completely? Hang on a second. Maybe if I change the resolution? That did seem to work. Nice. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, anyway, Google did that during the pandemic, and it's nice to have a day that the entire company is taking off, because if just you're taking a day off, then it means that you're still accumulating work. But if everyone's taking a day off, it probably means you are not accumulating work anymore. So I think those are really important. Okay, so what are we doing here? We need auto battle enabled. Let's go get that. There's like a whole thing that we do for this. Unlock auto battling, that's here. There's no enable auto battling in this. Not that it really matters. Oh, whoops, I left this in. I didn't mean to do that. Although it's not really a problem. But yeah, I didn't mean to leave that in. Being a global company. MX and India teams. What's MX? Oh, I don't know what that is. Mexico. Oh, gotcha. I've never seen that as a shorthand for Mexico. Wow. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin, I felt bad delivering that YouTube video to you this morning. But that's partially why I'm streaming right now, is because I thought I'd be reviewing a PR and I just ended up finding that and thinking, okay, let's see what happens. And yeah. Okay, so we need auto battle, and then I think that's pretty much it. So if I just click grant most things, and oh, I guess we won't need the town hall eventually, but yeah. So an easy way to have this happen is just enter a battle, enable auto battle, then turn it off over here, and I'm stuck in battle. Yeah. So we got to go figure out what's going on here. It's good to get it. That's weird. Yeah, I guess it is good to find it now. And I'm glad there are no like tricks to get that to happen. So it's not like I was, clicking super rapidly or trying to increase the animation time to 15 seconds. So it is something that I guess users would have encountered too. Well, I know users would have encountered it because I still remember watching Pige play the game for the first time and just clicking every NPC like 400 times. I'm like, what are you doing? But it's because there wasn't really much else to interact with at that time. All right, let's see what should happen. I have an idea for how this would have been broken, but I don't know for sure. I think auto repeat is here. So when you turn this off, if it was on and you turn it off, we call cleanup party in transit. But the party is not, no, maybe the party is in transit? It's on and you turn it off. No, party in transit is null. Yeah, so then this won't do anything. Disable auto repeat. The adventurers are in a state they shouldn't be in. I bet we could just take a look at what state they're in. Yeah. Let's put a breakpoint on this. Actually, let's put a breakpoint on that only once it's going to cause a problem. So let's go do that. And then put a breakpoint on this. And then we got to get it within 3 seconds. There. Okay. So now we have some adventurers. Do we have the town? I really hope we have the town. We don't. Does the instance have the town? Instance doesn't even exist. Drat. Yeah, there's no saving this thing off. Oh, I guess it was capitalized instance. Okay, that exists. Does the town exist off of that? Yes. So now we can call get adventurers. And now we want to get the rogue to list. We can't call to list. But what we can do is call this. This is really stupid. There we go. Now we get the 0th adventurer, which should be the rogue. Please tell me you're the rogue. Are you the rogue? Adventurer. Oh, come on. What are you? Okay, I don't know what you are. Do we have an ecs.debug print info on you? ECS doesn't exist. Oh my god. Is it? Are we doing Animal Royale? I don't know. Yeah, I haven't decided yet. Although we could always review that PR just beforehand. Then again, no one's going to know how to use it unless I also update the documentation and other people are using it. Do we have a way around this? I don't know. Not really. Well, we could get its component node. It's one of these. Yeah, here it is. Okay, and we can figure out who you are. Yep, this is the rogue. All right, so then this is what I wanted to find. And we need to figure out what state you're in. Yeah, how do I figure out what state you're in? I think there's a state machine that we can go access. There is. And then there should be a current state from there. There is. And you are in the state in battle lobby. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. All right, so I just need to figure out a solution for this. My team this week is me and one coworker for our entire client base. Well, I'm glad you've got the let's go attitude. But man, it sounds like it's gonna be very stressful. I wish you luck, Sir Puffin. Have you heard back from the new company? Do you plan on building something bigger than the shop somewhere inside the nav? Otherwise, we can close 510. Let me take a look because I don't know what 510 is. Oh, cool. I don't think so. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for testing that. Yeah, I think you can close this. This is good news. Also, this is a very fitting emote. It's like a party in the shop area. Yeah. Thanks for looking into that, Dark. Okay, so they're in the battle lobby. What should remove them from the battle lobby? I think there's explicitly a state that we set them in. Adventure, battle lobby. Set is in battle lobby. We only transition on entering since we always need to be in the same state. When leaving, we may either be in the battle or in town. I don't know where we did this then. Still interviewing folks, no decision yet. IC position, same. I haven't interviewed or heard from them. Man, that's too bad. Okay, well, I still wish you luck there. So what's supposed to get you out of this state? You're supposed to be in the town, which would be wander around town. Where's this called? Eject free adventurers from portal. Yep, here it is. All right, we need to call this. In most cases, when a battle ends or is canceled, any adventurers should be ejected back into town. In which case, adventurers should remain in the portal. So when you turn off auto battle, okay, so this should be pretty simple. Yeah, and this should fix both bugs. All we need to do is right here. This calls, okay, there is something a little strange about this. And that we don't call this function in both places, but yeah. Eject free adventurers from portal, adventurer functions. I don't know how you call this because I don't remember the argument. It just takes a set of adventurers. Okay, how do we know what the adventurers are? Passed into here. We don't track this? The instance must have them, right? Yeah, there it is. It's just adventurers. Okay. I don't think the instance can be null. I'm not actually positive about this. But you know what? Let's just guard this anyway. If instance is not null, then do that. There. Okay, let's try it out. And I think both bugs will be fixed. And thank goodness. And then we should probably rename the function. I got to remember that. But let's try it. So we speed up the battle, we win the battle, we turn on auto repeat, we speed up the battle again, we turn off auto repeat, and now this gets hit, and you should no longer be in battle. Yes, perfect. So you could start the battle again if you want to. Great. Now the next repro that we had is turning this on, then closing this before the next battle could start. Oh, whoops, I turned it off. That's my bad. All I had to do was click this button. Yeah, and they got ejected. Perfect. I think we fixed both bugs. Nice, nice, nice. So all I want to do is rename this function. This is going to be like set adventurers, or like free adventurers from battle. Whether they're walking to the battle, stuck in the portal, or stuck in the portal. I think that's it. There are only those two cases. What else is there? In portal, walking to portal, in lobby. Yeah. Any adventure. This will make the adventurers available again. Goose, thank you for the resub. 12-month streak. We've come full circle. I appreciate it, Goose. Thank you, thank you. Walking to the battle or stuck in the portal. This will make the adventurers available to battle again. Yeah. This is really, really good. I'm glad this didn't take super long to do. So we revert this. And then we say fix problems with adventurers being stuck in battle. Closes 517. This also fixes an even simpler repro of the same bug where turning off auto battle after the battle was over would get the adventurer stuck in battle. Nice, 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 nice. Nice. Cool. I am glad that's done. Let's push that. That'll close this issue. This was supposed to be tackled by checkpoint 5, and now we're done, so that's good. And then the only other thing was this. Kevin said we could use a using alias here. And I forgot where we even wanted this, but it probably had to do with the tavern because that's what we were working on. So probably quest progress. I think, yeah, I remember what it was. It wasn't quest progress. It was quest data. We have objectives and we have, or maybe quest. We have objectives and we have progress and they're the same thing. And I wanted there to be a type for this, but I didn't even know what to name the type. If you called like quest project progress or objectives, I guess. Surprise stream right after exams. Hey, Atomic Man, how do you think you did? Okay, well, let's try this first. Can we even do this? So this goes into the namespace, which means it should be able to go here. And then this is the type we want. And then what if we just call this foo for right now? Using directives must be placed outside of a namespace declaration. It just needs to go here. Type or namespace could not be found. I don't understand how you're supposed to do this and not have this like totally break. Must precede all other elements defined in the namespace except extern alias declarations. So it would imply that it goes here. The problem is I think you need to clarify what the dictionary is and what the items are. This is stupid. Yeah, this is stupid. But now we can do a foo objectives, and now we don't need this. What a weird feature. And now I can't even search for dictionary item ID without typing it in manually because we had to clarify all this. Objectives, objectives, objectives. This is all in quest data. Hey, Stockton. Pretty good. Nailing the practical exam so far. Nice, nice, nice. Well, good job. I wouldn't use it. I think there's one way I would use this, and it's if we can do what I'm about to try, which is what if we save a testeroni file and then do that, and then somehow allow this to be usable outside of here using testeroni dot. No, I don't think this is possible. Yeah, this is one of those things that are too overloaded. Oh, that are too overloaded in my opinion. Hey, Migo. Um, Too overloaded. You can do global using in your testeroni. I think that'd be weird though. If it's not explicit where this is coming from. Yeah, I feel like that'd be weird. Then again, maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah, this does work. And when you press F12, it does go to this. Yeah, now I can use it in all classes. I don't know. This feels a little weird. I wonder what this does to the bytecode. Like, presumably it's just replacing it everywhere with this. Although now there is a dependency on this file. This will require a dictionary. Check tests and global usings. We could do the same for the game. Well, yeah, do we have other global usings? We don't use any other ones of these. And like I said, I don't know how I feel about this. What I want is just I want a type declared somewhere that we import just like a dictionary or a list. And I don't know if that's doable. This is sort of like that. It's global. We declare this in the CS proj level. Oh, yeah, you're right. There's some global thing in here, right? Wait, is there? Am I misremembering this? I remember nullable being in here. But yeah, I guess I don't remember anything else. But still, is there a way to do this bit? Like at some point I could say using my special alias somehow and not have to define it everywhere. C# type alias. Because all I want is a type alias. Yeah, this stuff. In C#10 you can create a put it in the namespace and then use it as a type. I wonder if we could yeah, I wonder if we could put this in its own namespace and then import it. Possibly. Pretty sure they're local only. I'll test it out in just a sec. You can create a type by having a class that inherits from this. Okay, let's try this one last little thing. Testeroni 2. I'm going to say namespace, I don't care. And then put this using inside of here. Using directives must be placed outside of a... Wait, what? Didn't they just put that in here? Namespace and then using inside of it. Is this just a linting error? Well, let's ignore it for now, because I'm probably not using any of this anyway. And then how would I use an I don't care somewhere? Or a bar somewhere? Hyper namespace. Name bar does not exist in the namespace. I don't care. Yeah, I think it's just local. Yeah, I think it's just local. It was in jump rail. I see. So, yeah, the question would be, are we okay with a global using? And I'm leaning toward no. I don't like global anything. Which would mean we just have to say that it's a dictionary of item ID to int everywhere, which is also a little bit strange. I don't know. Let me look up what other people say online. Global using. The global modifier. Applied to all files in the compilation, typically a project. Okay, sure. Add to anyone. You want to keep it in a single location. Or doesn't matter. Can be combined with static. Apply to using alias directive. Also globally include a namespace by adding a using item to your project file. I mean, they don't really say if it's a good or bad idea. But I think it would be confusing. I guess it wouldn't necessarily be. You could search for it still. I don't know. I'm torn. It marginally improves the readability of this, right? You'd call this something like a quest tracking here, quest tracking objectives, quest tracking progress. And you'd put that everywhere that you have this. And like I said, it'd be marginally better, but then you'd be like, what is this type? And you have to look it up everywhere, which you'd have it here. We delete this. This is already gone. This is now just a thing that you can use everywhere. And whenever you wonder what this is, you could just hover over it. That doesn't really tell you, does it? No, not really. It just says it's a dictionary, but it doesn't say what kind of dictionary. So you do have to go to this to find out. And then this is less readable than just... All right, I'm not going to do this. Yeah. I think there are enough tiny little things that just don't feel right to me that we just get rid of this. Why am I doing this anyway? Just because we have this defined everywhere. And in a lot of languages where you do have proper type aliases, you'd be like, oh, this represents a quest progress or something like that. And that way you're not typing out dictionary item ID int all over the place. And then if you decide to change this somewhere, let's say you change this to a long, you'd have to go change this in like 400 locations. It'd be frustrating. Can we get typed in inherits in the dictionary? Yeah, that was the other suggestion on Stack Overflow. And to me, that also feels a little bit weird. But I think that would have done roughly what I wanted it to do if I had done that. This sort of thing. It fails at quality checks due to subclassing. Can assign to the result of a function that returns a list. Yeah, there's a bunch of things that this is not actually type alias here. Hey Carson, stream lagging really bad. I don't have drop frames, so it's possibly Twitch or your internet. And given what Blub said, it sounds like it might be your internet. Although I guess you wouldn't hear this for a very long time. So I'll just type this out. I haven't been dropping frames, and since Blub is fine, it might be you. Okay. Like it better than the using approach. I think I'll just keep things how it is. And I don't think there's a big problem here. Okay, cool. So we're on this enchanter and manual spells. And we need to copy this over here too. The PRs eventually I need to look at, of course. Hey Dave, welcome back. All right, brand new feature. Well, not really brand new, I guess, since it's revamp and not make. But it's kind of close to brand new. Change the enchanter scene to have 3 spellbooks. I want to refresh my memory on what this stuff even is. Because I had an idea. I didn't put a document here, seriously. Okay, hang on. Let me go find this. I am muted. I don't even know how I muted myself. Oh, I know why. I was holding Alt while I was typing out my drive, which is an alias I have, and Alt M is mute. Yeah, thank you, Blub. Anyway, I don't know what was muted, so I'll just say this again. I have this document, and we came to some conclusions. Unfortunately, the conclusions are like somewhere down here, so I've got to figure out what I was talking about when it came to spellbooks and mana crystals. Start a new game project. Yeah, what's this one about? Is it? It's different from the one you showed the you were saying you were learning some chords. Think you could just alias it as an item record if it's all over the place. I don't know. I always feel like global anything is suboptimal. I get that a type alias would typically be global, but it'd be used for everything. I'd want to know how it modifies the assembly. And I'm guessing it would be invisible to the assembly, but I don't know that for sure. And it's just not a big enough change to look into right now. We have bigger things to do. All right, so 3 gray crystals, 3 spell books. You click a spell book to spend 1 mana, and one of the unfilled crystals will fill to indicate the duration. It'll become this color of the spell book. Is that stuff written here? Yes, I guess. But is this the clearest possible system? And is it worth mocking this up? I guess it'd be pretty easy to mock it up, so let's go do that. We'll just make a new scene here, and we'll add a sprite 2D. This texture needs to be, I think, the marketplace texture. Is that the one of the crystals? I don't actually remember. Show in file manager, open with GIMP. No, that doesn't have the crystals. What am I talking about? Oh, I'm not even in the marketplace one. That would help. Yes, okay, it's in the marketplace one. So now let's put that over there. Let's get the region that it's supposed to be. Oh, this is going to be annoying because we don't have the platform here. I guess it doesn't really matter. Or what is it? 256, 192. 256, 192. And it's what? 16 by 32? Is that right? Do we have a crystal here? Yes, we do. Okay, so it'd be something like this. This is gray crystal. We have 3 of these. We move these a little bit to the side. Then we have 3 spell books. Where are the spell books? It could look like that, but I like those ones better. So let's take one of these. All right, this is 130, 208, 130. So it'd be 128 and 208. Yeah, so 128, 208. Let's get one of those. Spell book. 128, 208, 1616. Okay, so there's a spell book. We need 2 other spell books. I'm not trying to make this look perfect. And then you'd also have a mana crystal. 3 gray crystals. You have a rainbow crystal that shows how much mana you have. Hovering over anything shows you the mana you have. All right, I'm glad we're mocking this up a little bit because I'm not sure this is the best idea. Rainbow crystal. So this one would represent your mana crystal. And this would be over by 16. Yeah. Okay, so it looks something like this. But not really, because it makes it look like the spellbook corresponds to the gray crystal, and it wouldn't. We should probably use different spellbooks here. So plus 16 and plus 32. Hey, Pressel. Pressel, I feel like you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Is this preferable over a UI panel with 3 slots? Well, I wanted this to be in-world. Although maybe that's what you're talking about as an in-world UI panel. From coming up with openings to the stream, yeah. How do we shrink this? There we go. Yeah, I guess what are the important parts here? You have 3 spells you can use. I mean, we're calling them spells, I guess. It's kind of weird because they affect customers and workers and stuff. It's fine if you don't sub. That's totally fine. I meant that you click the enchanter or maybe the mana crystal and it shows some UI. I see. Yeah. Yeah, that could be good. But yeah, let's think about this. So you have 3 spells you can use. You can stack any of the 3 spells, e.g. cast spell A 3 times. You have mana that regenerates. And spells cost mana. Is there anything else to this system? Maybe you want to be able to see what your current spells are. You may want to be able to see the time remaining on your current spells. Or how long until you get mana or something like that. That's fine, that's fine. This was our visualization of this. They don't have a cooldown. Unlock, upgrade them. Okay. So part of the reason why I was originally thinking of doing this was that you'd be able to see your spells remaining in the world, just like how you could right now in the game with the buffs that you get from the enchanter. So when you put this here, you'd be able to see, okay, this is nearly full, and you can see it decreasing. And if you build more of these things, you'd see, oh, I'm not using the weapon crystal, so you'd know to put something over here. So I like that general idea of having it be visual. I think having a UI panel could potentially also be fine. Like maybe the way you're interacting with this is different from how I'm talking about it. But I sort of like that the spell books would just be buttons you could click. So if you're like, oh, I need more workers, you click this 3 times, and now these all fill up blue. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very torn on this. We could change the system too, so it's a little bit easier to understand. But I like that the system allowed you some flexibility here. So yeah. Mana doesn't have to be part of this rainbow mana crystal though. It could be that, I guess we don't have a rainbow one, but it could be that you are accumulating some mana gems and they could just literally show up on a table or something. We don't have anything else, right? No. Nothing else I'd want to use at least. Mm. Yeah, I still kind of like this idea. I don't like this layout at all. And I guess I don't even want these to be all together, do I? I don't know. I don't want you to think that they correlate to these. We'd have to put these somewhere else. I am not good at this stuff. I'm just not. Yeah. Put it like that and then put the spell books all in one spot. I don't know. I think you'd probably want icons for those too. So this would represent your mana. And then you'd have to know somehow which spells you have activated. Maybe no, you'd want to see it somewhere. But maybe we don't even limit how many of those you can have at once. Maybe it's limited just by your mana regeneration. I just don't know where else you'd go to see this. Like it could be that hovering over this stuff works like how it works in the game right now. You hover over any of this rectangle and it's showing you the enchantments tooltip. So you can just point in this general area and see what it is you have enabled so far. And like if I drag this over here, it says, okay, you're getting +1 power for the entire battle. We could do that same thing. You have your spell books, and then yeah, you have the enchantment stuff. What's nice is at a glance, we're not hovering over that, and we can see that that green crystal is filled. Hey, Turbo Dave. I was just thinking, I haven't seen you in the stream in a while. Hope you're doing well. Still appreciate your Discord messages. And I like this idea of being able to see this at a glance. But in order to show this in the game, we would need 3 of those crystals because you have any 3 of those things showing you. So maybe the only thing I don't like is how we represent mana. Maybe that's it. I just don't like how we're rendering mana. I wanted there to be a visual way of telling that you should use your abilities. What if we put all these things next to one another? It's probably look bad because the rainbow crystal can turn gray if you're out of mana. Yeah, I don't think any of this is going to be clear. Oh, man. I mean, we could just do it and see what people say and then change things around. I don't think it's going to be the worst right now. Spend 1 mana. One of the unfilled crystals will fill to indicate the duration. Oh, that's another thing. I guess we could just... The absence of something could mean that you don't have a spell. Could just not show something when you don't have any spells active. I see on YouTube as well. I'm sold. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Well, just so you know, usually on YouTube, there are almost no chat messages the entire stream, almost no matter how many hours I stream. And part of it is I think I made it so that people have to be subscribed for at least 20 minutes because I was getting a bunch of garbage messages from like 12-year-olds who'd come through and then just spam the chat with a bunch of trash. That was frustrating. On a rhombus arrangement with what, one of these in the middle or just something like that? I mean, not covering the spell books, but Kevin. Let's let's not have this take up space here. I'll send a pic. Okay, yeah. Something like this could potentially work. Yeah. So again, for anyone who doesn't know what this is supposed to represent, so the gray crystals will fill when you cast a spell. How do we drastically lower this? There we go. So gray crystals will fill when you cast a spell. The rainbow crystal is how much mana you have. And then the spell books. Spell books are buttons to cast the spells. I'll get a chat only thing going for Twitch. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. Nice. Welcome back, Turbo Dave. Yeah, so that's it. That's all the system needs to do. You need a way of casting the spell. You click the spell book. Upon doing that, your mana depletes a little bit. Maybe it goes down by half. And then one of these crystals fills all the way with the color of the spell book. So you click the green book, and this one might turn green. And then this is going to slowly fade out, and this is going to slowly increase. So your spell duration is limited, and your mana is eventually going to increase again. And that way, when you've unlocked, full mana, you can click all three of these spell books. You can click one spell book multiple times. Yeah. So I like the general idea. I like that there's some visual aspect to this. You can tell where your spells are remaining. You can tell how much mana you have. I think it's gonna be a little bit confusing, but we could probably clarify it through the tooltip we're gonna have. Anyway, before I totally lose this, because I'm probably gonna close this tab at some point, let's save this into GIMP. There we go. The public class thing is actually clever. Yeah, but as Stack Overflow mentioned, you lose type inequality, or sorry, type equality. You can't inherit from sealed classes. You what else? I don't know if there's any like private function. No, wait, no, private functions wouldn't be affected. Yeah, I guess it's the type equality thing, which granted we don't do now, but that might have broken things. I feel like mana is a little redundant. Would a cooldown on the spell crystal work, or is that not the point? I love how it's going so far. Well, welcome in method. The cooldown. So here's what I had a problem with the cooldown and why it might seem like it's redundant, but actually it really isn't. If there were just a cooldown on these things, all of the spells are beneficial. So I was worried that if there were just a cooldown, you would just use them whenever they're available. Because you're like, well, I want to always get the benefit that I'm getting. Now, they are situational, so you could argue that, well, you're maybe not using them in the best possible situation. But yeah, I was concerned that it's one of those things where it's like, I might as well just use it. Better get some benefit than none. But if there's mana, then at any point, now it's like you're pulling from the same pool for all of the spells. By the way, the spells, just to be clear, are more workers, more customers, or more items. So if in the game you are like, oh man, I have all these items and they're not getting stocked, give yourself more workers. If you have all these items in the shop and they're not getting bought, give yourself more customers. And if you don't even have any items, give yourself more items. So it was like, which little throughput of the town do you want to tweak to make your town machine run as good as it possibly can? This is what I meant. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. I think let's start with that at least. And then the only question is, where do the spell books go? So there's Kevin's suggestion. And the only thing I want to be careful about is if the spell books look like they align with a crystal, then you might think, oh, this is the blue crystal and this is the green crystal. You would almost certainly have that assumption get broken if you're paying attention. Like at some point, you're going to click the red spell book and realize that this crystal lights up. And then you'd be like, oh, I guess I can do it differently than I thought. Now, granted, there's going to be an NPC here, and the NPC, when you click them, they'll tell you you can use the same spell multiple times. So I think it'll clarify this. Yeah. But otherwise, what we could do is we could arrange them like this or something. I don't know if that's any better. I don't think so. I kind of like this way, but I guess only because there are 3 columns implicitly already. So having 3 spell books lined up with the 3 columns makes more sense than putting them on the side. Although you could also say there are 3 rows implicitly. Oh, I never put my phone on silent because I wasn't planning on streaming today. Let me turn this off. Yeah, there we go. All right, well, whatever. This is good enough for now. We can always move spellbooks around. It's not like that's going to be very hard to do. So yeah, let's get started on this stuff. Let's also maybe put in, let's do this. Let's put this one on top, this one on bottom. Because I trust Kevin's instincts more than I trust my instincts. Put this label here, put this label here. Whoops, I forgot that they are like that. Let's fix that. Good, good, good. and then just take a picture of this whole thing and put it on GitHub. There. It's going to have those lines in it. I don't care. I know we can remove them. Great. So you know what I actually want to start with here? I think I want to start with the spells, like the system underneath it before we get to the visuals. Yeah, probably. Maybe you have to drag the books to a crystal to apply them so it's clear you can choose. Like I said, I think at some point someone is going to realize that they need more workers, which is this spell, and they're going to click it and it's going to light up this crystal, and that should break their assumption that, oh, this was the blue crystal. But also, I think at some point we're going to put, like I said, the NPC is just going to tell you, like, you can cast the same spell 3 times if you want. And then finally, there's one other thing underpinning all of this, which is maybe it's like totally unbalanced to cast 3 plus more item spells. And maybe we do need to tone this down somehow, in which case we change the requirements because of how it pans out. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think the way that the plus items is going to work is we'll say like X% chance to roll double the items. And X will probably be like 10 per level. So 3 spells would be 30% chance of double items. Because over enough trials, that means that you're getting just 30% more items. So I think we can just balance it anyway. Anyway, yeah, I think this is good enough. I think we'll get started. And I'll write this here. Probably need to theme this as X% chance to roll double the items, or roll the items twice. Need to put that in player-friendly parlance. And I don't know what that's going to be yet. We'll figure that out later. It probably actually is better to just make the scene now, but I kind of wanted to do this. Yeah, let's make the scene. This is gonna break everything. Revamp enchanter. Everything. All right, so we have the enchanter den, which looks like this right now. And we have 3 pots. We're not gonna use the pots at all, I guess. Are those just going away completely? I mean, this stuff is not too crazy. I guess it's gonna just change to enchanter spellbook. Yeah, although they're not drag targets for items. In fact, items don't factor into this at all. We never figured out how we were going to be able to upgrade this. And I still haven't figured that out. Because I was thinking the spells could become more powerful over time. You could get more mana over time. You could actually unlock the spells themselves. I think at first we said you're just going to buy them. I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah. Also, it'd be kind of interesting of just giving you a random spell book of the 3. Because all of them are beneficial, as I mentioned. And eventually you'll probably want all of them. Actually, let me think about that for one more second. No, yeah, I think this is good. Okay, yeah. Sorry, getting lost in the design for a sec. I think I'm happy with what we have. Okay, so change the enchanter scene to have 3 spellbooks, 3 great crystals, and the mana crystal. We're going to pretty much recreate what we had just done. These crystals each have a color, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the texture is going to have to change. And then the empty color, and this expands downward. Okay, yep. Ensure you have an empty crystal, ensure you have enough mana, light up one of the gray crystals and increase the mana. This will involve changing the texture of the active crystal. To get the right color, I should probably say. And one of them needs to be a rainbow color. We have 3 colors. The colors should correspond to the spell books, and they don't right now, right? No, we have an orange one. The blue doesn't really match, and the green doesn't really match. But maybe that's fine. They're close enough. I don't know. I think we should just brighten this book and brighten this book. Yeah, I'll write that in cleanup at the end. Polish. Consider changing the colors of the spell books to match the colors of the crystals more closely. So it's not called potion crystal anymore. Like I said, we're breaking everything. We just call this, I don't know, crystal 1, crystal 2, crystal 3. And then we need to add in another one, your mana crystal. The mana crystal is going to go here. This is going to go on the left. This is going to go above. This is going to go here. Now we do want to space these out reasonably aesthetically. So I'm going to just temporarily do this for now. But I want their exact pixel amounts to be clean at the end. Make sure the crystals are positioned at like well-chosen offsets. I just slammed them into the scene. Hey, who cares? You cheated the system. How'd you cheat the... Oh, I see. LOL, I had to use YouTube today. Twitch doesn't load on mobile data. Ah, chat on Twitch, viewing on YouTube. I think that's what Turbo Dave's doing too. Okay, so now instead of pots, these are going to be spell books. We have no need for the pots anymore, I guess. What a shame. What a shame. Guess we rename this? Guess we rename everything? Yeah, I guess we do. Show in file system. Okay, so let's just rename this here. Should we just call it spellbook or enchanter spellbook? I think just spellbook is probably fine. Spellbook, one word or two? Looks like one word. Where's Merriam-Webster? No, it looks like two words from this. Not that that would show up in there. What I'm about to name doesn't matter for the player, but we are eventually going to use the word spellbook. I wonder which one is more common. Let's just search for spellbook with no space. Shows up. Where's the number of results? Didn't they used to show you the number of results on Google? What? Could have sworn it used to say up here how many results you'd get. Why, I can't even turn off dark reading? Am I going nuts? Okay, this does at least 226,000 with no space. And it doesn't tell you when you type a space. What's going on? Why don't search engines work the way I want them to anymore? 26 million results and 260,000. Okay, it's two words. That's what we're doing. So stupid. All right, where's rename? There it is. All right, spell book, two words. That's what we're doing. Okay, and rename this to spellbook. Rename its script, which is currently enchanter pot. Rename this to spellbook. There's a tell about pots state. We're going to need to make sure that the dialogue states are renamed too. Rename tell about pots, since it's now talking about books. Oh, and then I'll just write a note to myself somewhere. Note going with spellbook as two words, given the search results being greater for that variation. Checking the video you shared about dialogues, and I was wondering, do you have the latest version of the PR locally? Because the shopkeepers shouldn't have had dialogues at all. So right now I'm thinking you had a mix of new and old code and broke it. Well, I had a comment in the PR. I use just GHPR checkout and then whatever the number is. I guess it's possible there was something old there, but I'm not sure how. But yeah, I should try that again. And I'm sorry to have potentially produced a spurious video there. I guess maybe we'll write that post break. look into the dialog PR again, see if I had the most current code. All right, so that's been renamed. That's also been reassigned. Pot sprite, texture crop sprite 2D. So this is just going to be the book sprite. Book sprite changes its region, but otherwise nothing. I don't remember what the region is, so we need to find it again. It is 128.208. 128.208. All right, so there's our book. Is this not aligned correctly? Because they don't take up the full space. They're allowed 16 by 16 and they use 13 by 13. So possibly we're going to need to add a pixel or two to this book to make it not look weird. Push again so it's as in sync with the main as possible. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, so book sprite, clickable stuff. Yeah, this is all looking good. All right, so now the enchanter den, rather than having pots, is going to have books. And we got to call these the different spells. I guess it could be spell 1, spell 2, spell 3, but it could be like customer spell, worker spell, and items spell. Yeah. They should be different books eventually. I don't care about that yet. Actually, wait a second. Weren't they different pots originally too? How did I do that? Maybe there was a script to set that? Pot sprite. Yes, there was. Region. Cool. Well, all that stuff's going to have to change too. Okay, so what are we missing now? We're just missing the positioning looking better than it does. Right? But this should meet the mock-up that we had. We have 4 crystals, 3 books, and an enchanter. Yeah. Okay, then let's just work on the positioning a little bit. So we'll bump this down to here. I want this to be pretty much as low as possible. Same thing with this. This is now at 46. And this is at 46. Let's make sure they're the same distance from one another. Plus 32, plus 32. Yep, that looks good. They need to just be far enough apart that you don't click the wrong one. I don't think you're going to be like speed clicking this stuff anyway. Then as far as the arrangement of the crystals goes, I think this should probably be bumped up a little bit. Yeah. Now let's get the transform for that. That's 5620. So now this one should be at 56 and then something. Let's figure out the something by just moving it. So that's now 34 pixels away. So there should be 17 above that. So there should be a Y of 3. Yeah. Now the only other thing we have to do here is make the x coordinates be correct. Yeah. This is 56 and this is 32, so that's 24. So it should be 1 pixel higher. There. Okay. Now they're all arranged, hopefully correctly. We could kind of test this by doing this and just drawing a rectangle here. And then moving the rectangle over to here and making sure it's aligned. Yeah. I know that's unscientific, but it's good. Texture copy things to the books. If you do it from code, it should be the same as the pots currently do. The texture crop thing is already applied here though, right? This has a script of texture crop sprite 2D. So I think it should be fine. Because all I did is change the graphic of the pot, and the pot had looked good before. Now the last thing I would do, and I'm not going to do this now, is I'd probably just collapse this whole thing a little bit. It's wider than it needs to be, but I'm not concerned about that. All right, so is everything named correctly? Yes, yes. Yeah, cool. Yeah. All right, that actually was not that hard. So this is done. Now make it so that clicking a spell book activates the corresponding spell. Now we're going to change a lot. Change the texture from code later. It'll override that texture. Oh, I see. I see. Because we're going to... Wait, no, we're not changing the texture of the books, though, I think. We're only going to change the texture of the crystals. And the crystals, I don't think are going to get highlighted at all. So I think we'll be fine, but that is good to know. Thankfully, too, it would hopefully be very obvious that like the outline is broken. Okay, so clicking a spellbook. Let's go get just the spellbook thing to work. All of these things change names, so we're gonna have to do that first. Yeah, what do we change them to? Just crystal 1, 2, and 3, and then customer spell, worker spell, and item spell. Yeah, so rename this to crystal 1, crystal 2, crystal 3. Then we used to have it in potion, armor, weapon, and now it's customer, worker, items. So customer, book, worker book, item book. Probably want to call this a spell book. Then they're not enchanter pots any longer. Yeah, they're just spell books. This has the wrong name. Yep, so delete all of that. Nope, that did not work. There we go. Then there's a mana crystal. We need the mana crystal. Okay, now we fetch these things correctly. All right, so mana crystal is called mana crystal. All the other ones are called crystal 1, whatever. Mana crystal. Let's just copy this over to here. Capitalize the C. Then the spell books changed. They're now called customer spell, worker spell, item spell. Customer spell, worker spell, item spell. So we delete the book. Okay, now pots. They're not pots anymore. There's spell books. And then there should be something like that for crystals. Yes, perfect. Nice, I like it. All right, all these things are going to need to change. This is on clicking the pot. Now we don't need to go outside of this to figure this out. Oh, we're also going to need to save all this data. If I haven't already, yeah, I wrote that down. Okay, I guess save which spells are active. Which spells are active. Save how much mana you have. How much time remains. Save how much mana you have. And then when loading, make sure this gets applied correctly. Thought you activate every crystal as a multiplier of the later applied buff from the by the spellbook to check the issue. I'm not sure what you meant, but it will actually kind of be a multiplier. Like if you click more customers 3 times and each one would grant you 2 customers, then you'll end up with +6 customers. But it's not like it grows, you know, +2, +5, +10 or something like that. Yeah, I was thinking it'd just be linear. Hey, Voppy. Welcome in, welcome in. What's that badge you have? Twitch Recap 2024. It should be, well, it doesn't even tell you how you obtain that. You have to click Learn More. I'm not clicking Learn More. It's not like I have learns right in my name. All right, where do we leave off of this? This is not going to build yet. You see the Funko call leaves on? Yeah. And I asked Leaf because I was. Well, I probably shouldn't share this on stream. Never mind. Yeah. Yes, I saw it. I think the whole saga is just kind of absurd. I actually thought those crystals were some kind of spell powers. You get a 4x bonus with all crystals active. No, I think the tooltip will clarify it too. It's just like how the original one worked in the game. If you hover over this, when you have all 3 active, you would never see some like extra buff. So if you had assumed that in the game, you'd probably read this and be like, oh, well, it's not telling me anything. So it's probably not doing anything special. If you go through the Twitch recap, you'll get the badge. I feel like I don't care about badges on Twitch a lot of the time. Like if I type something, I already have 3. I'm in this channel, I'm always going to be the broadcaster, of course. But there's a sub badge, there's a partner badge. I feel like I want the partner badge showing most of the time, so that only leaves 2 other slots. And if I'm a subscriber, then that's one of the other slots. And then the final one, just never, I guess, been that interested in any of those things. Ideally, the final one would be like a you cheered for $100 or something, but You no longer get ads, bits for ads anymore. All right, yeah, clicking the book. That's what I want to do. This is clicked pot. That's great that that's there. Yep. This invokes another thing. I don't think we need that anymore. So just print here, you clicked a spell book. Brag about being verified. I think it was pretty clear I was trying to brag about being verified. All right, clicked spell book. This is going to be renamed to spell book. We actually don't need the button in here anymore. That was only needed when you have drag events. Now I don't think that's necessary, so I think we get rid of this. OnClicked is invoked differently too. Good. Got the word pot needs to be changed everywhere. Rename everything involving the word pot. Yeah. A game show. I don't think so, Elemental, but thanks for asking. I'm like full throttle on making this game, and I'm trying to cut out practically every distraction that's not just making the game. I don't mean distraction in a bad way, by the way. I'm trying to say that even things like playing games, I've been just playing fewer games. I don't know, I've been working more. That's all. But good luck with it. It sounds cool, and it's cool that you're hosting something like that. Okay, so click spellbook. We got to rename this stuff too. Spellbook. How many other references? Put item in pot. That's not even a thing anymore. Yeah, put item in pot. Drop off item. That's not going to be a thing. This is not going to be an I accepts item anymore. We can delete all the things that were in there. Drop off point isn't needed. Will accept item isn't needed. Means that the town is going to change because it used to request the enchanter for a lot of this stuff, and that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, like this isn't needed. Player clicked item destination. That's still needed. Clicked item destination. Oh man, I got an error for my message. I'll have to query the Oppressal API and find out why. So these are going to go away. Get pot of type. Pots. Okay, that's good. Guess anywhere else we have the word pot is also going to go away. Yeah, this. Oh no, the word pot shows up in potion. We'll never find all the instances. All right, well, that looks like it's pretty much done. Anywhere else? Any other problems in this file? No, I think we're good. All right, what about in here? We might as well fix this stuff. What is this called? Book sprite. Anything else there? Book sprite. This data comes from the category. Oh man, that's not a thing anymore. Neither of these are things anymore. We need this to be somewhere. There's got to be some like spellbook data. Yeah. Which ID am I using? I'm using VS Code. I really like VS Code too. I remember when Sublime came out. I think that was the first editor I used with multiple cursors. And I think it's just like one of the greatest features for editing. And I've even done it here and little things too, like it's like, oh, rename this crystal everywhere. It's like, oh, you could just call this book or whatever. I accidentally muted myself doing that. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a great feature. Yeah, we need spellbook data to be somewhere. I think I want to do this the way that Kevin did this for dialogue data. That we just have some public static read-only things here. Oh, but we might need to get all of the spells you can have. I am not sure yet. Fourth and top 5. Oh no, there are 3 streamers above me. Let me know who they are so I can sabotage them. I'll go into their streams and ask very boring questions. Yeah, the enumeral of classes. I do want to switch to that. I keep thinking now's not the time. because I'd want to change all of them. That might be why. Yeah, that's probably why. Although maybe for the rest of this year, I'll be streaming a little bit more. I'm not sure. I don't want to get people used to that and then take time away, though. All right, so yeah, we got to relocate this. Where are we putting it? We have items. Let's just look. What's the inspiration for this? What is this? All right, do we have any sort of spell stuff in here? I don't really know where we'd put that. It's not abilities, they're different because they affect town. And I guess we could put it in town and just make a spell section here or enchanter or something like that. Where is the enchanter stuff? Oh, in scene scripts. Yeah, I think I'll put it in here, like the spell stuff. Which theme am I using? Yeah, check out yep, that command. It's Atom One Dark Vivid. Yeah, by the way, I do tend to have commands for almost everything that people ask about. So if you are curious, and you certainly don't have to go to the site, I'm happy to use the commands or answer any questions, but you could always type things like theme in here or IDE or language or, engine or yeah. Yeah, there's a command for everything. All right, so I think we want to put this in here. Let's make a new folder. Let's call it enchanter. And let's put it in the right spot. And then inside there, I want to make the spell information stuff. All we really need, to be honest, maybe this is not a smart idea just yet. Yeah, you know what? I'll probably put it in here for now and we'll export it out afterward. Because, where is it? This is currently using rectangles from over here. And I don't think we really need this. This got initialized with an item category. Okay, never mind. We do need some sort of like, which spell are you? Okay, there's Vim key bindings. I haven't tried them in VS Code. I have tried them before. So as far as getting around goes, I couldn't tell you what feels the most ergonomic. I tend to, without using Vim key bindings, I tend to use Command R to go to a function a lot. So like go to init or ready or something. I tend to use Command P to go to different files a lot. So maybe I go from here to town and then from here to something like skip tutorial. And that's how I navigate to a specific thing in the code base. But then within the code, it's sometimes I just use the find command, sometimes I use page up and page down. On this keyboard, it's sort of similar to having Vim key bindings almost. Not exactly, but it's like everything's already at my fingertips. And a lot of what Vim did originally was just try to reuse the main part of the keyboard that you're using for all the shortcuts that you might have. Well, I only have the main part of my keyboard, so everything I ever type on this is always very close to where I need to be. I know that's not the entirety of the Vim mental model that you have. You have different input modes and motions and registers and yeah. But at least for navigation, it's pretty similar. All right, yeah, I want to make this. I am just being a doofus here. So let's go set this up. Make something like spell ID or spell book ID, spell ID, town spell ID. Item ID, we're just gonna copy this in here. Gonna be a different namespace, game source, towns, enchanter. Spell ID. So you're gonna have 3 spells. Gonna have the customer worker item, I think is what we said. Customer worker item, yeah. Oh wait, that last one has items, it's pluralized. Items spell. You know what? I think I want to pluralize all of these. No, I don't. Let's make them all singular. Just changed my mind a couple of times there. Enchanter, den. Yeah, now they're all singular here too. What about editing words between the braces and so on? I have the same keyboard. Oh, cool. Yeah, editing words. So I do use this shortcut every once in a while, which is, what is this thing? It's expand selection. So this is sort of similar to something like CI curly brace in Vim, but it's not exactly the same. And sometimes it doesn't work how you might think. Like if I put it here in the middle of a string and do expand selection, it expands to the word. I press it again, it expands to both words. I press it again, it expands to the string. I press it again, it's the parentheses around that as well. Then the whole line, then the whole line with the white space, and then the function. So that actually did work how I would expect it to work. But yeah, sometimes I don't feel like it highlights exactly what I want. I think it's much clearer in Vim when you're doing that. But I don't often do that. Sometimes I'll just select the whole thing with like shift page down and just delete the function and write a new one. I don't know. You have a binding to jump to the next class member? No, I don't usually look at the outline, and knowing what the next class member is not something that's usually on my mind. With that said, you can always just do it this way by just opening up the Command R menu and just pressing down. So it's like one extra shortcut, I guess. All right. So spell ID, none customer. I don't want spell to be in there. Then worker, then item. Perfect. Okay, so now all spell data. This is going to be similar to what we did with all quest data. It was just inside of a quest data thing. We're going to call this spell data, and we're going to put it in here. All right, same namespace. I don't know what just happened there. There we go. This is going to be spell data. It's going to have a rect2. Is that what that is? Yes. It's going to be for the book. Yeah, this stuff's going to have to go away. Book. And what else do we want here? I don't know, maybe a color to make the maybe crystal rect2. I want this to be in the same order as the other one. So yeah, it was the crystal one first. Okay. This is going to be called spell data. This is going to be called all spell data, which is a dictionary actually. Dictionary of spell ID to spell data. Okay, AI, can you do this for me? You can. Cool. All right, we got to fill in these rectangles. I'm not going to do that yet. We don't need to generate next quest. We don't need this. We don't need that. There's usually a get here. All spell data.get. Public static spell data get. Oh, there we go. Can this throw with a... Yeah, it doesn't matter. How do you delete so fast? I don't know what I just did. Let me see. Oh, I think I was just holding Command X. Yeah, it's just delete line. Well, actually, it's cut line. I also have a Command Shift. Why did the shift thing not work? D to actually delete the line without putting it in my clipboard. So if I duplicate this a bunch of times and delete it that way, then it won't be on my clipboard. I'll still have a curly brace there. All right, these comments aren't needed anymore. Yeah, cool. All right, so where are the spell books? One was at 128, 208, 1616. I guess all of these are going to be 1616, right? Except the crystals are double the size. So for those, we can set them to 32. Then the worker spell book, we just need to pick the right colors. And I'm not super concerned for right now. We just need the green one and then the orange one. Yeah, so green and then orange. So green is going to be 128 plus 32, so 160, 208. And then orange is going to be 192, 208. And then the crystals need to correspond to those colors. Is this 224, 192? And that's blue. 224, 192, 224, 192. And then we had green next. which is going to be that plus 16. So 240, 192. We might mess all this up, in which case we'll just fix the numbers afterward, and then 208, 192. All right, I think that's all of it. It doesn't put anything in your clipboard. The delete line doesn't, no, but cut does. So like, let's say I had all this text. If I delete it with delete line, then my clipboard is still all the stuff I copied. But if I delete it with cut, then the last line is going to be what's on my clipboard. Yeah. You weren't using that? Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. What is the thing called? Let's find out. Called, yeah, delete line. Copy command ID. The only reason I don't tend to use that as much is because I need to press 5 keys on my keyboard for this shortcut, even though it only takes 3. It seemingly takes 3 keys, but for me it's 5 keys to press that. Whereas Command X is only 2 keys. What's cut line called? Let me find out. It's just cut, apparently. Clipboard cut action. That's what it is. All right, so now we finally have spell data. So now that can go into here, right? This data altogether is going to be wrong. And this is an item category. This is like spell ID, spell ID. We probably need to save that off as well. Oh, good. It's doing that thing again. Whoops. Spell ID. That was probably stupid. Oh well. What are you going to do? Okay, so now this is spell data. All spell data. I'm just going to reload this. This is already... AMPV, how you doing? What are you whoopsing at? Oh, me saying whoops. I just tuned that out now. Tune out all of my own speech. So why can't it find spell ID? Public enum inside the enchanter, and yet it can't. Oh, there it is. I'm doing really well. I'm pretty happy about how things are going. I got never mind. I'm just gonna go off on a tangent, and I realized the tangent has no value, so let's just not talk about the tangent. Anyway, things are going well. I am working quite a lot on this. Oh, neat. 2 crop texture. Oh, so we already are doing this. In fact, it kind of makes me wonder if this thing even should have, if it should have the texture crop sprite. I don't think that's going to matter. Now, in this case, what's going to happen is we'll get this blue sprite in the cache and we use the blue sprite. So there's no problem. But if we put, let's say, the red sprite in there, then we'd have a tiny bit more memory used up for no reason. If there's nothing selected, it'll copy the whole line. Yeah, yeah. And a bunch of editors work that way, although not all of them. But that is really nice. So for example, it's like if I want this line, I can just copy paste instead of using my duplicate shortcut. They're in my case, both of those are 3 keys pressed. So it's either copy paste or it's what is that? Oh, it's a special key on my keyboard. It's not even specifically a shortcut. Okay, where are we going now? This is looking good. This get outline shader isn't needed. All right, I think we're looking good with this. Nice. We're by no means complete. Why is this not an issue in the other ones? Alignment data. What do we do for that? It's public. Oh, it's private static? Okay. Yeah. Cool. Delete all these. All right, what's next? I guess just search for the word pot and see what shows up. Enchanter Den. And then some dialogues. So just the enchanter den. Okay, on clicked pot. This is no longer needed. Any others? Potion is fine. This is all stupid. Spellbook. We're hiding these by default because you need to create them. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. Now we initialize these with spell ID dot custom. Excuse me. Worker item. This isn't needed. Click spellbook just tells you click to spellbook with ID. Spellbook ID. Cool. Player put item in pot. That's not even doable. Where did this get called from? Nowhere. Goodbye. Oh, wait, there's a disenchant thing here. We probably want to use the sound. I don't think I wrote that down, did I? No, I did not. Okay. I guess it technically goes into polish. When casting a spell, play the... Yeah. It might not sound okay for casting a spell. It didn't tell you to rename it to data. Did I not change that? I didn't. Yeah, I should have. Gonna have to build both the books and the crystals or just one thing? I don't know yet. Here's what I think we're gonna do. I think for checkpoint 5, we're just gonna give the player either all of it or we're gonna at least just have them build each book. I don't know how you're gonna upgrade the mana. Yeah. I think I want all this to take money though. I know people keep talking about like, well, shouldn't there be quests or something? I just don't think it's significant enough. The quest in itself. It's just getting items anyway. So it might as well just be that you buy this stuff. That's what I'm thinking at least. All right, get crystal of type spell ID. This isn't even a thing anymore. This function shouldn't exist. It's just get empty crystal basically. Also, this function isn't going to exist, so I don't know what I'm doing. Consumed item. What does that do? Oh god, active mods. Oh, no. All right, we got to delete all that stuff. All of the active mod stuff in the... What even is that? Enchanter crystal? Needs to be changed while removed. Have them build the crystals so they can't have multiple spells active all the time, even if it's the same at the beginning. Yeah, I think that probably makes a little bit more sense. Yeah. Consider having the player build the spell crystals, not the books. By doing this, they'll still start with all of the choices, but they won't be able to cast multiple spells at once. Okay, well, a lot of that stuff's going to have to change. Oh boy. All right, get crystal of type is probably going to have to go away as well. Probably go away. We just want empty or full crystals. What else? Consumed item. Consumed item should go away. Drag an item onto a book to disenchant it. That's just not a thing. Where does it even show up? Drag an item onto a book to disenchant it. Is that... Oh, I closed the game. Well, there's no getting that back because I can't build this now. And I can't launch an old version because the save files have changed. So I guess we're just going to have to... I guess I could stash the code I have. But whatever. I think I know where this is showing. Yeah, it's showing on the big tooltip. Hey, Kesha. I keep adding and learning a new keybind every month. Someday I'll be more efficient. I think it's good to find out what exists or how you can improve your workflow. I do think that the majority of coding, people aren't waiting on typing or keybinds or anything. But my stance has always kind of been the same. The faster you go from what am I doing to how do I do this thing, this amount of time in between these two things, if this is long, you could context switch in the middle, and that's a problem. So if you're like, oh, I'm coding X, and then you're like, okay, well now how do I delete the file I have? If you just had a shortcut like shift delete, you would immediately move on to your next thing. But if you didn't, and you're like, okay, well first let's do this, and now I gotta find reveal in Finder, and now I'm like, I right click this, and I'm like, wait, hang on a second, look, there's a folder there. Now I'm sidetracked, and like the task I was trying to do, I'm not doing anymore. So that's why I think it's potentially worth learning shortcuts, not because they're going to drastically speed up your workflow, but because they're going to stop you from getting sidetracked by other stuff. All right, this gigantic tooltip is going to have to change completely. So how about for now we just say string text equals this has to change. And to do change this. And then just delete that for now. All right, what do we have? Get pot of type. What even called this? Nothing. None of this is going to work. None of this. Well, let's try building it and just see what happens. Then I should probably take a break. Hey, Deepness. How am I doing? How's the game looking? I'm doing great. The game, how is that looking? I think you should be the one to judge. How do you think it's looking? What we're working on right now is the enchanter. And I bet if I try creating it, it's probably going to fail. Yeah, it failed. Object not set to an instance of an object. Let's actually go to the first instance of the problem here. Failed loading resource enchanter pot. What is even trying to load that? That's strange. Enchanter pot. It doesn't exist anywhere. That is strange. Open the project in the editor at least once. Okay. That might be what's causing this. Well, thanks, Deepness. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy with how things are going. We're changing the enchanter. The old system was that you would drag an item, it would disenchant it, so you'd lose the item, and then you would get a buff for about a minute in battles that you would start. There were a lot of problems I have with that. I'm not going to go into them because we're changing the system. And the new system, as soon as we can actually click this button, which we'll never be able to do, I could show you at least what we're planning. What happened here? Can't open file enchanter pot. I still don't get what's trying to open this. This doesn't show up anywhere. What is going on? If it doesn't show up anywhere, enchanter pot, yeah, then why is it complaining about this? The enchanter sign is trying to do it? Town create enchanter deck? I just still don't get how this is possible. Yeah, the enchanter den is apparently referring to the pot somehow. But where? It used to be these. I click open an editor, it goes to spellbook. Let's see. How's it? Hang on one second. Okay, sorry. How's the pace? It's going pretty well, I'd say. Do you open the den in Godot? It was open, and that's the part I don't understand. Is like how. What could cause that problem? I didn't use the pots anywhere else to begin with, right? I guess we could just find that out by going over here and searching for enchanter pot. It should only be in the den. Yeah, well, it was also in the pot itself, of course, but yeah, now it doesn't show up anywhere. So as long as we've opened up both of those, which we did, is it, no, I was gonna say, is it this unsaved scene? That doesn't make any sense. I don't get what's going on. Yeah, I don't know why it's even trying to load this. Cannot open file enchanter pot. Resource loader extensions, town 470. Just on trying to create the enchanter den. Yeah, I don't get this. Try launching again. Wait, does it error immediately? It shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't. So strange. Maybe it needs to build again? Should be doing that anyway. Maybe I need to make a file change or something. I don't know. Yeah, it just keeps erroring at the same spot. I just don't get why it would be messing this up. Something in here is referencing the wrong thing. Let's load up enchanterden.tscn. The word pot doesn't show up in here. I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, how about this? Let's make some artificial change. Enchanter Den, we have what? This, you click the spell book. We'll just type a star here. And then we'll rebuild from over here. Hey, Ski. How's it going? How's your Tuesday? It's still not doing it. I'm gonna reopen the whole project. I don't know how this is happening yet. Pretty decent so far. I'm doing well. I am I'm happy with how this is going so far, other than the wild errors that I'm hitting for seemingly no reason. But beyond that, this is actually going pretty smoothly. Okay, weird. Very weird. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't know how that actually got fixed. Well, I know reloading the project probably fixed it, but what happened underneath the hood? I don't have a reference to this scene, but it thought I did. Then I rebuilt. I ran from Godot. I had the scenes open. But then when I reloaded the project, everything went fine. Also, why are these arranged so weirdly? Oh, because you don't have all the crystals by default? Oh, this is doing something strange. I think it's using the wrong rectangle. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting. Maybe check quick delete of the currently open file. Since I use the Explorer tab, I can just do the focus delete and Control Shift E delete. Yeah. Yeah, I end up, I know what I do is a little bit weird, but it's reveal in Finder and then just Command delete from here. It's fast enough, I feel. Okay, so we're using the wrong texture. You know what? This is actually probably a good stopping point so I can take my break. Yeah. Okay, so where I left off, I'm using the wrong texture on the books. They're showing as crystals. And then I want to look into the dialog PR to see if I have the most recent code. Actually, I don't think it's worth deviating from this just yet. Yeah. Gotta be an engine problem. Had a similar one in UE4. Still included in future builds. Yeah. Thanks, Stevens. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a break. It's just gonna be a few minutes. And then we'll keep working on this stuff. Is it jump time? It's jump time. All right, close the game. Also, hey, Matt. Hey, coffee mug. All right, using the wrong texture for the books. Let's go take a look at that. That's probably come from spell data and us using the spell data wrong because it's pat. Oh, I see. I already see the problem. I specified these in the wrong order. Okay, so here's what we do. We take this and we put this over here, and that should fix it. 116 hours of watching for this channel this past year. Thanks, Adam. You're the coworker I don't actually have. Thanks for being here, Campbell Soup. Yeah, it's nice to have people watching, and I feel the same way. I would be going nuts if I were just making this in a dark room every day for a year. And by the way, I've realized that about myself. So a very long time ago, I had an internship actually, and in that internship, I was the only dev. The team was remote. Team was also small. It was also a different time zone, so it's like I never really ended up talking to anybody, even in emails. It just wasn't really a thing. I didn't have anyone else to work with. And I was getting like agitated in my personal life. I just didn't have a good setup. And that taught me that, okay, I shouldn't be working in total isolation. And then after that, I had a bunch of sort of normal, quote unquote, professional jobs. And then in 2015, when I was like, okay, it's time to work on Botland, that's when I decided, hey, streaming is worth trying. And I streamed for, yeah, pretty much 5 years. And I felt like I was in a good mental state for that time. So I think streaming did help me. I think if I were working on that game on my own, first of all, I would have made a bunch of bad decisions because the stream, the viewers guided me in the right direction for some things and told me about things I didn't know about, and it helped me learn still, but also just kept me sane. So yeah, I think it's good that I can sort of give back in some way. I know it's just by my presence, it's not by anything special I'm doing, but yeah, maybe I'm spreading the sanity around the world. All right, so now we have a book here. What happens when we add another one? We get, okay, yeah. So we're getting more books and more crystals. That's not how I want this to work, but it's at least working. No bad decisions on Botland, all thanks to MPV. Yep. Yep. Okay, so now don't make it so that you unlock. Oh, well, that's already written down on the list, I guess. All right, so what have we done here? Make it so that clicking a spell book activates the corresponding spell. Ensure you have an empty crystal, ensure you have mana. We should probably play like a bonk sound when you don't have an empty crystal or you don't have enough mana. Maybe flash the crystal that we have. Where is this? Oh, yeah. When you can't cast a spell, either because you don't have enough mana or because you've already cast 3 spells, or the max number of spells. The max number of spells. It might not be 3. Then we should play a bonk sound. Let's see for chatter. Model view chatter. Okay, you need an empty crystal. You need enough mana. We don't render any of this stuff right now. Do we have anything written about mana? We do. All right. So this is one of those things where we have a million tasks and any of them could be done, but none of them will complete the system. So I guess let's start lighting up crystals. How are we going to do this? Let's just close everything. So in the enchanter den, we need a way to get an empty crystal, which means we need to track what is the duration of the active mods, which are going to be spells. And we sort of have this. What is this? What is this indeed? Aren't these default to nothing? Why do we do this? This should have just been set to none for all of these. Oh. Indeed. Where is it used? The instance just pulls it right from the enchanter den. Oh god. Oh, we're deleting the whole mod system, aren't we? Oh man. Do we? I don't know how we should feel about that. I didn't even think about that though. But yeah, we have things like this. Grant all adventurers a chance to dodge for the entire battle. Should this exist in some form in the game? Well, let's say the answer is yes. How would it exist? What would give you plus power or plus dodge or plus anything? I guess it'd have to be a new system because I don't have an answer for that otherwise. I think we should delete it. Yeah, I think we should delete this. Let me just think about this quickly. So we have the battle mod system. It's possible to add things like plus power, plus dodge, etc. Really anything that affects a battle. In fact, how do we code this? Oh, we made a special system for it. Is it worth keeping? How would we manifest those buffs? Think the new enchanter system could evolve into having more than 3 spellbooks? But the problem is if, okay, right now, there are going to be 3 spells. They all affect the town. More spellbooks, totally fine. Affecting battles, I'm not sold on. Because what I'm concerned with is it's going to be too hard to make a decision of should I win battles more or should I just get more items from those battles? Battles only exist to give you items, except for boss battles. So the majority of the battles in the game, it's like if you just said, just give me more items, you'd be accomplishing pretty much the same thing. Offensive, defensive, utility, but why? Like, what's the purpose? I guess. Like, when do you use these? Is it to make boss battles easier? Is the battle mod system to make boss battles easier? Because if so, that's what the quest system is for. Like, why would we expose another system here? So I think I'm going to delete the whole thing. But I don't want to make that decision lightly. I just don't know. I don't know why we would ever have it so you could affect battles. Unless it's this. I mean, it could be this, right? Make the boss battles easier, even easier than quests make them. But even then, I wonder, is it best to just make a difficulty slider for the game? You just like set the game to easy mode if you can't win. Otherwise, what are we making the player do? Like wait 10 minutes so they have enough mana so they can do like 2 boss battles and attempt to beat it? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Definitely leaning toward deleting this. Delete all of the battle mod stuff. I'm gonna write my conclusions in here at least. We should delete the entire battle mod system. And there are a couple reasons for this. One is this went through a different system than abilities went through, which isn't a huge problem. Elf was sort of awkward to use. We had to grant an effect at the beginning of battle. This is a very minor reason. I think the major reason is it doesn't accomplish anything anymore. The spells all affect the town, not battles. If you had choices that affected battle, then it would be for one of 2 reasons. Make battles go faster. This is already covered by the plus items spell. Or make boss battles easier. Quest system is for permanent stats, and I assume lower in effectiveness. No. Enchanter should give you more powerful spells than what you get from quests. When you say lower in effectiveness, what do you mean? Because you can just keep doing quests. So if, +2 stat points or whatever wasn't enough, you could just do another quest and another quest and another quest. Yeah. Make boss battles easier. Quests accomplish this. Spells could accomplish this. But if any player ever needs spells to win, then the usability of them would cause a lot of frustration. Yeah, for example, mana only recovers such that, I guess mana recovers slowly, so you can only use spells every so often. So you would need to wait for X minutes to get mana back just so that you could do another couple of attempts at the boss. Ask first, what battle mods are we making for the enchanter? No more. No. Battle mods are gone, is what I'm saying. They're just deleted. There are no battle mods for the enchanter. They don't exist. And the reasons to have battle mods in the past are because we didn't have this new enchanter system. So they accomplished kind of everything. But we also didn't have the quest system. I just don't see a need for battle mods to exist. And like I said, if they did exist and they were from the enchanter, then we've caused a tedious system for the player. If a player ever feels like they need the enchanter, then what they're going to do is they're going to, apply like whatever, plus power, plus defense, plus utility. And then these crystals are going to be going for a minute or two. They're going to start a few battles. If they still can't win, now they need to wait another 10 minutes before they can try again. It's like, well, what's that player going to do? They're probably just going to be like, I'm not waiting 10 minutes so I can get the mana again. And if they don't have to wait 10 minutes, then it's a bad system to expose it through the enchanter. It could always be exposed another way. I need to be convinced on that way. But still, what problem are we solving with such a system? It'd really just be make boss battles easier. And I just don't think this is a good way of doing that. It's the same problems I had with the enchanter in the past. Like, what are the mods? Why aren't you just always keeping them applied? How I tell my boss that Copilot AI is down. You use a different AI to form the message so that you can communicate it. There is something kind of interesting, I guess, which is that if we ever did allow for quest choices, then we could have quests that give you something like plus 2% dodge. But I think that would complicate that whole system too. We could have quests give the battle mods. Then I think you would want some kind of choice. It would complicate the whole system. I think that's the first reason. But it would complicate the whole system. Are you choosing the mods? Where are you seeing the roll-up of the mods? How do we balance adding fun effects like lifesteal or dodge? Yeah, I think I'm going to delete this. It's not like we can't revive it if we want it eventually anyway. I just don't see where that would come in. Plus, people didn't like the manual effects, right? Or the limited time limited effects. People didn't like short-lived battle buffs in the first place, which is part of what expedited us removing the system or revamping the enchanter. Yeah. Okay, so this stuff would all be deleted. This stuff I think never really mattered anyway. This would be, what would we be doing here? We have a spell ID. We wouldn't be doing this though. We just have all the crystals and then get the spells from those. Yeah, I don't think we need this anymore. I'm gonna delete this. Should probably delete it in a separate commit. Yeah, I don't want to pollute this any more than it's already polluted. Oh yeah, also, does clicking the books work? You click the spell book with ID customer. So this is the customer one. This is the worker one. Oh, it's registering on both left down and left up. And this is the item one. Yeah, that's a problem. We want it to just be on mouse. Well, one of the two. I don't know which one. I guess what do we do for other things? Mouse button dot left. This is pressed. This is not pressed. This is pressed. Yeah, I think I'll just do it on pressed. Yeah, there. Now we do that same thing. And then just click this. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Yeah, let's get back to checking this in. So changed around the enchanter den. Changed. It looks like this is a new file, but it was actually modified from the enchanter pot. Now it's a spell book. A lot of this stuff has not been changed yet. I'm okay with that for right now. Yeah, the rest of this is looking good. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Well, not really. I mean, it's going to get changed at some point too. This has to change. That's fine for now too. Do I have something about the tooltip? Yeah. And this is spellbook. Cool. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm happy with this. So start revamping the enchanter. Change the layout of enchanter den. Change pots into spell books. Spells are not functional yet. Battle mods still exist. Is there anything else I did with this? I don't think so. Yeah. Cool. All right, time to go gut a mega system. Man. I always find it to be a shame when this stuff happens. But yeah, I think we delete all of this stuff. Oh, we won't need to make a battle system out of nowhere. That's kind of nice. I remember being confused by why dispose was called before anything was even done in the game. All right, delete that. Delete pretty much this whole folder, right? Yeah. There, done. All right, that's going to cause a whole bunch of build errors, which we'll then go fix. And we'll need to search for the word battle mod as well. Search for mod or battle mod. All right, where are the build errors? Battle mod attribute. Oh God, is this what I think it is? We had like a. Oh, I deleted everything. Okay, let's go take a look over here then. What use this indicates that a class represents a battle mod. That way we can construct them all when the game starts. Oh, attribute in this case meant the C# attribute. That's why I was confused. Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, we're still deleting this. All right, run rebuild again. Battle mod system. I think this can just go away too. Yeah. L:Q, how you doing? Haven't been able to catch a stream lately. Oh man, things have been busy here, and I've been trying to work a lot on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's typically when I would have tuned in. I trust that you've been working on some fun projects though. Busy time of year. Well, it's actually kind of weird because I would say it is a busy time of year for me now, but it isn't usually. If you're ever in a corporate lifestyle or something like that, usually December, at least in the US, is pretty slow. But and I don't even have any sort of major deadlines, and I could just push them if I wanted to, the ones I have. I just really, really want to make progress on this. I don't want this game to stretch super far into 2025. And yeah, so I'm putting in all the time I can. But yeah, what have you been working on? What's the latest fun project? Because there's probably been several, right? do a project you want as long as it benefits the business. Really fun to hack out new ideas. Yeah, and I think that's helpful for just sort of or not customer, worker morale as well. This existed inside an instance. Yeah, we're going to delete this stuff. We delete all of this stuff. Instance. Failed. Open anyway. I'm trying to delete this, so I know it's not going to exist. Battle mod system, yeah. Okay, so this goes away. Battle mod system. We don't need this anymore. We don't need whatever this did. Started battle. That's not going to exist. Battle mod system. Some mods may affect life amount, which should happen before auto battle kicks in. Alt F4. Hey, welcome in. I was going to say, it must be right before a time boundary here. It's actually 10:51, which I maybe don't have a meeting right now, but yeah, I hope the stream was good. Yeah, Linux developer. Find myself a lot of non-work obligations around this time. Yeah, that I can totally understand. Holiday time means different things to different people for sure. Yeah, welcome in everybody. Again, hope you were enjoying the stream you were just in. I am working on Skeleseller. If you've rated the stream before, it's what I've been working on the whole time. Let me pull up a little thing really fast. I'd love to just show you the game. The problem is I'm in an intermediate code state right now. I'm trying to remove an entire system, and it won't actually take that long. So if you do want to see a live demo of this, I guess you could just wait like 5 minutes maybe. But yeah, it is not normal for me to be streaming on a Tuesday, but I want to be putting in a lot of time toward this. So anyway, welcome in. Let me know if you have any questions. I know at post raids, lots of people just leave or lurk or are going to be silent anyway. Totally fine. Not a problem. Hope your stream was good, Alt F4. Thank you again. All right, so this is going to be deleted. This idea of healing more after a battle, I already had an idea for how we could affect this with the regeneration system. But let's delete this. That concept of the battle is totally done. We don't ever need again, do we? No, we can always get it if we need it. All right, anything else? Not that. We don't pass in mods now because they don't matter. Hey, collared. Or collar. I'm collar. Probably I'm collar. Hey, I'm collar. Yeah, lurk away. All right, mods are now gone from here. Anything else? Don't show the icon at all. Oh yeah, there was an icon in here. L:Q gifting a sub before even you have a sub. You have turbo L:Q? Thank you for gifting a sub. I just always feel like if I'm gonna watch someone stream, I would want the sub for myself first because I hate ads so much. Oh, you're a turbo gamer. Gotcha. Yeah, I had turbo a long time ago, but then I stopped watching Twitch as much. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it. And now one more person can lurk in peace. So battle mods icon. This is something that was pulled in through the scene itself. Yes, it was. Battle mods icon. Here it is. And it was inside of its own container. It was in the center of the battle. And I liked the idea. We can still show this somewhere, but it wouldn't be in battle. So I guess let's delete that. Oh, what? What just happened? Oh, I deleted the whole center container. I meant to just delete this. Whoops. So the flee button should still exist. Oh, I can't see it. Ah, there it is. A little tiny running man. Hello, running man. Goodbye, running man. So the icon is gone. Thankfully, we put battle mods all over the place. Yeah. We use the town tooltip for that. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We're getting there. We are getting there. All item data. Oh, great. All of this can be deleted now, too. Hopefully, I didn't just mess up. If any of these were one line, it would have messed up. No. I know this is destroying the encoder and no one can read this, but all I'm looking for is it's something that takes up one line instead of like 5 or 6. Yeah, nothing does. Okay, cool. So now we go into item data. Delete that. Delete this. We're just deleting everything. Save data doesn't need this anymore. I'll comment that out for now because we need to come back to this. Battle mods icon. This can just go away completely, right? What did we do here? We either showed it was active or inactive. We're almost done with the gutting of this stuff. No, it should be fine, but removing whole features like that gives me immense stress. It's just disappointing when I do this. I don't find it stressful. I find it disappointing because you could have written perfect code and you just at some point decide we just don't need this feature anymore. I mean, imagine how many things have been removed from big products that you've used. And maybe it's because they were buggy, but sometimes it's a business decision. Like, oh, we don't want our users using this, or we need to hide it behind a subscription or something, or we're changing the vision of it. And at that point, it's like, well, okay, now there's no reason to have the code. If no one can use the feature, why should it exist? So it gets deleted, and it's just sad. It's like saying goodbye to an old friend. So there's no active mod on an enchanter crystal. We need this to instead be an active spell. There's going to be a spell ID, active spell. I'm going to change that for real at some point. Let's keep going through this though. What is this? Enchanter crystal, battle mod, tooltip info. This was its own class? Man. Yeah, I guess not anymore. I don't even know where that was used from though. Tooltip info? We've probably already deleted it by now. No, the crystal had it. Crystal had it so we can consolidate it in one spot. Why did it matter that it was a battle mod tooltip info? Oh, because it was a formatter. Oh my god. Battle mod tooltip formatter. All right. Well, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah. Problem with my portfolio where I hate what I built after a while and just gut my whole GitHub always feels bad. Yeah, that I would probably not do. I don't mind leaving repos that no longer serve a purpose because in my mind, it's not dead code that exists in a product. It's dead code that exists on GitHub. And who knows who might take value out of it or if you go back to it someday. Excuse me. And he said, I'm refactoring some of my junior's code right now, feeling a similar frustration. To the disappointment at removing bad or removing code? Because I was going to say refactoring someone else's code, I'd say is like the good deletion. I feel usually pretty good when I delete, let's say, bad code or delete code that, yeah, but I guess pretty much bad code. Then I feel like, oh man, this is like removing a toxin from the code base almost. I guess it depends on the kind of refactoring you're doing. All right, save data. We don't have active mod here. Feels good in the end. Yeah, I guess that's the other thing too is as long as you don't regret a decision and you don't have a way to go back to that decision, then it's not something that lingers with you. Oh man, consumed items should just go away. Yeah. Processors update fill time. Yeah, this is gonna be needed again. No, I don't rejoice. Usually it's when I refactor my own code. If I'm refactoring someone else's code, then I think there are multiple feelings that are associated with that. It's like, okay, I'm improving the code base, but then is there a learning opportunity here? Like, should I go talk to this person? I've had this happen in corporations. I've had this happen on smaller projects. There's a lot more than just, oh, hey, I deleted this. So I don't write code for the game. Someday I'll get Ski to write a comment somewhere in a file, and we'll see contributor Ski Dog. This all needs to change. I'm just commenting it out for now. I want to get this to build again. Oh, there's so much of this. So much of this. Okay, that's good. What do we have in here? Item needed it? Oh yeah, for the battle mod stuff. That's fine. Anything else in here? No. Item hover handler. What do we do for this? Add the enchant effect, but only if you had this? Yeah. It was a good idea. I really think the biggest learning from this stuff is to to plan the feature maybe a tiny bit more. Like, what's going to happen in reality here? What problems are we going to run into? And very early on, I thought about this problem. So I should have been able to think about it at inception, and I just didn't. And the problem was we had items. Let's say we have, I don't know, like 100 items in the game. And each item had an enchant effect. And they weren't all unique. So we just hard coded like a +1 power on 70 of them or something. But the problems should have been obvious right from the get go of like, wait a second, we have 100 items. Are we going to have 50 different enchant effects? And if you don't have 50 different ones, then it's like, is there a reason to put them on items individually? Should they have been used in a different way? How will we balance these things? How will we expose them to the users? What happens if there are 10 and you only ever care about one of them? There were just a lot of problems. And I didn't like the ideas, even though I came up with a lot of those ideas. It just eventually realized how they were received. Hey, Shoot Strikers. How's your recap? Who's the MVP? Who watched your channel the most? Oh, I didn't look at that. Where do I find that? Does it tell me who watched the channel the most? Where do I find that? Twitch recap. Streamer. Here it is. I found it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. What in the world? Why is this gigantic? Hey, look, it knows I worked on Skeleseller. I streamed for 914 hours, 287 streams. A lot of that came from streaming twice in one day. Yeah, 152 days streamed. Total hours watched, 112K. Is there any interesting information for this? Top stream reached 6,000 viewers. 284K chats sent. Top emotes. Adam Wall is the only one that's actually used with any frequency. Biggest fans. Look at that. Look at that. It'd be strange if I saw a name here I'm like, who's that? But no, I definitely recognize all these names. Oh, Tyler, thanks for subbing. Welcome back. It's gigantic because apparently Twitch chat is the same domain. Yeah, it is. Same domain. So Twitch chat needs to be larger for me to be able to read it. Collaborations Rage received 194. Who rated you? Lana, Windy, and Kit. Raid sent 157. Who did I raid? Lana, Alcohol, and Q, CM Griffin. I tried spreading my raids out quite a lot. So I made an effort to try to find new streamers, and I had very few criteria for that. They need to speak English because I've rated people who don't speak English, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not gonna enjoy this. So like, I don't know who in my audience could enjoy it too. They need to not be streaming for like a crazy amount of hours, and ideally they were someone I didn't raid before. So that's why the number of raids on any individual person never made it up that high. Although 8 out of about 160 is like 5% of my raids went to Lana, I guess. Clips of the year, I made 94 clips. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I don't remember making that many. Although at least like probably 3 or 4 of those were just accidental. Oh wait, no, these are made of my channel. Oh, wow, that's actually fewer than I would have thought. 53 people. New followers, 6,000. New subscribers, 400. Hype train, 6. Points spent, 2.6 million. So you're refunding stuff. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Well, thanks, chat. Thanks for making it a good year. Honestly, it was a good year. And I want to do some kind of recap. I had a calendar reminder pop up on December 4th because that was when I started streaming last year. So now 12/4/24, this thing popped up. And I thought, should I recap everything I've learned? Now, there was an inherent problem with the everything I've learned part because back in 2023, I thought this will be the Adam Learns channel again. It turned into Adam develops a game, and there's not as much that I could share about everything I learned because it's mostly one topic for like 8 months. But I think doing some kind of recap could be interesting. I'm just not sure what I would include in it. Yeah. But he said it's frustrating because it's a constant activity for me. Business loves their cheap contractors, but it's always a challenge for me to get this group to learn from the prior experiences, not blaming them at an individual level. Contractors have a vested interest in dragging out projects as long as possible. Yeah, I think the problem is twofold. I think it's the contractors like not wanting to do a good job or not learning, and then the company for still hiring cheap contractors who don't do a good job and don't learn. And I think on a bigger scale here, it's like you are frustrated. How many other people have to deal with the contractors and are frustrated? And does your company care that you're frustrated? Like, could you both, or could you all be better developers? And will that make the company more money in the long run? But it's hard for them to look at that calculus, I think. I just assume Adam already knows everything. No, definitely not. The youth word of the year? Is that a Twitch recap thing? Huh. 'Cause I didn't look at my viewer stats. I only looked at my streamer stats. Okay, I think this will build. I'm not sure. I still see some red in here, but maybe it'll just go away. I was just talking to, I was talking to Kip Boga about this actually, but I was talking about what does it look like to be a tech influencer, or rather, I guess if you're a tech content creator, what are the various routes that you have? And it's make a product or service, and then I guess sell that. It's be an influencer, and then it's like sponsorships, subs, bits, whatever else. It's review stuff, and then it's typically the same thing. Typically sponsorships, I think, if you're going to review stuff. What else? I don't know. I'm probably forgetting some stuff. I'm not trying to be like exhaustive here, but I was just thinking, what are the various paths? And I'm on this path right now, which is make a product or service and then sell that thing. But some people you've seen are on the influencer path, where I wonder what is like a normal day for them. And it's, I guess, turn on a stream and do something and figure out what content you're going to make. One of the things that I looked at recently, there was a video by Ludwig, and he talked about does it take skill or luck to be a YouTuber? And Ludwig has made it on Twitch and has made it on YouTube and said, I'm going to do an experiment where I don't use my face, I don't use my voice, so people don't know this is me, but I'm going to make a video and I'm going to get at least 1,000 views within 24 hours. And he went and did this by putting the video into Miskif's chat, and then Miskif happened to click it, and through that, the video got a lot of views. In my mind, there are a lot of interesting things about this. And I'm not saying it was a poorly conducted experiment or anything. I think the real purpose of this was just to get views on Ludwig's YouTube channel and, eventually make money through that and get more people in the community. But a lot of this hinged on Miskif seeing this and then sharing it. And if that hadn't happened, I wonder what he would have done. But then also, I wonder, is this like a way you can expect to grow as a YouTuber? And I get the general idea is market your video where there's an audience for that video. And if it happens to be in a streamer's channel, then go to the streamer's channel or the Discord or their subreddit or something like that. But anyway, what is Ludwig's life look like? And it's probably like come up with content for a lot of that stuff. And I think there are skills you can learn and you can align content with learning or with growing in a way you want to learn or grow. But I think in a lot of ways, it's like you'll react to stuff, you'll have a lot of sort of derivative content. And that's kind of why I wanted to pursue this route of like make a product or service. The ideal thing that I had a while ago was just learn on stream and see where the viewers and the dollars are. And it's not there. I don't think people want to watch you learn on stream. I think what they want is for them to learn. So they want to see you teach on stream. And I think there was more interest in that stuff. And that's what shifted me toward, I guess, the other thing, which is courses. Sort of fits into the make a product or service. So anyway, this is a very long-winded way of saying I'm going to make Skeleseller. If it's successful, I'm going to just keep working on it in some way, shape, or form, or go to a different game. If it's not successful, I'm probably going to make that organization course I've talked about for a while. And then I don't know what. It might be more courses, it might be more games. I don't know. But right now we've got our eggs in the Skeleseller basket. So there's my little rant that nobody cares about. I think this built and I think we just ran it, but I'm going to do this again because I lost the context. Yeah, it's working. And hopefully we can build the enchanter's den. Yeah, and we can build this out too. It's got the wrong signs and text. Should probably write this in here somewhere. Make sure the signs say the right things. Need to learn JavaScript so far? I don't think that's a bad plan. I think it's totally fine. Yeah, y'all better make Skeleseller a success. Just gonna type a certain command in chat. There's no real significance. You just have to make of this what you will. All right, so battle mods have been gutted, but we still don't have the spell stuff in here. I don't think I'm gonna worry about that just yet. I just want to make sure of the files that are still here, they don't have a ton of comments or commented out code that we should have deleted, unless it's a file that's on my radar. So we're gonna look through this really quickly. Yeah, I'm not gonna look through all this. It's fine. Yeah, we already know we're gonna have to come back to this, so that's okay. We are gonna have to come back to this too. Yeah, all the enchanter stuff, it's okay to have commented out code there. But anywhere else, I think it could be risky because we might just leave it. So far, so good. Yeah, so far, so good. Cool. Cool. All right, everything's looking good. Yeah, cool. All right, remove battle mods from the game. There is still some commented out code in the more enchanter adjacent files, which I'll get to in future commits. Vinny, thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. Welcome in. Good afternoon. I think that rant is interesting. Shows the challenge of making your way in the world. I think, look, here's one of the issues about any sort of tech content creation is that typically tech itself already makes a decent amount of money. So you're sort of comparing what would I just make in regular tech versus as a content creator. And the equation just doesn't work out if you're talking about big tech, at least in the US. It's like the amount of money to be made there is such that Skeleseller needs to make a lot of money, like a lot, like a runaway hit of a game, and the amount of people who do that are like less than 1% of 1%. It's just it's crazy. Like the equation just doesn't make sense. So in other realms, like if you're going to be a gaming streamer, you don't make money playing games on your own. You make money going to tournaments, pretty much. That's about it, right? Yeah. I don't know if there's another way of doing that. So as a gaming content creator, you're making more money than you'd make playing a game. But as a development streamer, you're not probably making more money than you would as just a developer. Could be the next Vampire Survivors. Yeah, and the odds of that happening are just really, really low, especially given the genre, given the just sort of the amount of content, the replayability, all of that. And I don't see that as a problem. I'm choosing to do this because it's what I want to do. It doesn't have to make more money than what I made before. I'm just saying that when you think about, okay, what's the future? If there were some monetary goals here, how would you hit them? It's just an interesting thought process. Consider recording any reaction videos. I think this was asked before. I've considered it, but I'm really full throttle on Skeleseller. And I just don't know what that road leads to. Like, let's say I react to stuff and people love it, and I'm, whatever, I got 10,000 viewers and people are just throwing money at me. Am I happier? I think that's the biggest question that I have. And I don't think the answer to that is yes, which is why I haven't started doing it. So I'm doing what I would call like happiness driven career development right now. But at some point it might shift to other motivations. Okay, so the short rationale for removing this is that I don't think we should have a system for affecting battles. And if we do, it should be well thought out. Well, another system for affecting battles. I'm not going to fix the comment, whatever. Isn't the appeal of React content that is live? Recording a video seems kind of pointless. I think people like, well, okay, I think maybe we're talking about two different things, but I think the reactionary content we're talking about here was like, hey, C# just had a new patch. What do you think about it? Having that be pre-recorded, I think is totally reasonable. It's not like react to, I don't know, drama in the streamer world or something. Yeah. Kitboga collab when? I was talking to Kit. He said he'll play Skeleteller on stream. So that'll happen at some point. I've been on his stream a couple times too. There was way back in the early days when a lot of the scams were sort of new to everybody, or at least the scam baiting was new to everybody. I've learned watching Adam all these years, and when it does says 1 to 2 months, it means 4 to 8. Yeah, estimations are just naturally pretty hard. It's also tough to know what a game's going to evolve into. And I guess if you were to just plan kind of anything, like I'm going to make my own Survivors type game, you might have an idea for what that looks like now, but then you get feedback from players and they're like, I want the system to be different. I need a better UI, or they love the game and they're like, now I want achievements and trading cards, and those things all add time. And it's hard to account for those ahead of time, not knowing how much polish you want to put into a game. Asking scammers for help selling items. That would be funny. All right, where we leave off of this. So the only thing I didn't search for is mod. Does that exist in the code base anymore? No. Well, I don't care about casing. Mods? No. Battle mods. Something's wrong. Because I'm pretty sure the word mod should show up somewhere. Maybe it was like active mod. Yeah, that shows up. And actually battle mod did show up. Oh, it just takes some time. I think we're fine. Yeah, this is just a cleanup thing for later. Or active mod. Consumed items should go away. I think we got rid of that. Well, sort of. Okay, crystal of type should go away. Crystal of type. This isn't used anywhere, right? No. All right, so then what can we do next on the list? Clicking a spell book activates a corresponding spell. Yeah, this is probably a good thing to do before lunch if we can. Oh, the camera froze. Gotta go fix this. Can I change this? Is the right camera? Yeah. All right. I really should just connect this directly to the computer at some point. Did that work? Yeah, that worked. Hi again. So ensure you have an empty crystal, ensure you have enough mana. All right, empty crystal. Each crystal needs to know if it currently has a buff active. That's this. So we'll call this active spell. Oh, your GPU died? Well, the rest of the screen is hopefully working, right? You know what? I should just be standing. I'm sick of repositioning my legs on this chair. Did a leg workout yesterday and my legs are stiff anyway. Just making sure nothing's falling off the desk as I raise this. All right. So active spell. Time span, timer left. Yeah, each of these is going to have a time on it. Okay, so instead of getting a crystal of a particular type, we want to get a crystal that does not have a spell on it. This isn't needed. This isn't needed. Yeah. Let's make that. Public enchanter crystal question mark get next empty crystal? Not really empty. Get next inactive crystal? Yeah, that's good. So we need to know that you've built these crystals, which we don't have anywhere, as far as I know. Crystals current level dot show. So we need to know that it's visible. Yeah. So all we do is iterate over this for each enchanter crystal and crystals. If crystal is not visible, or if the crystal's active spell is not equal to none. So wait, how about this? If the crystal is visible and its spell is equal to none, then we return it. Otherwise, we return null. You sometimes see the camera being frozen when it's on your end. Wow, wouldn't it just freeze the whole stream though? Use properties where appropriate. Sure, I'll make it a property. That's fine. Now it's got to be in a different place. Fun. Yeah, sorry. I really should just plug in my camera to the computer directly. It'll probably stop that from ever happening. But then I can't use it on my other computer as easily. But I guess that's okay. Write this down here. Attach camera directly to Mac. Yeah, that should stop the freezing. The mouse issue, it's easier to unplug the mouse or something. Plus, it doesn't really break a whole lot. Do you get two cameras? Well, I have the camera you're seeing me through. I have the keyboard camera, of course. And then I have another webcam that's like really bad quality that when I was doing the piano stream, I had it showing on the piano. So when you click one of the spell books, we need to find that you have an inactive crystal. So we do this here, var inactive crystal equals this. Get rid of that. If it is null, then we need to play a sound effect here, play a bonk sound. And if it's active, if it exists, then we need to set it to active. This has a private setter. Why? What did we do with active mod? Consumed item is what did it. Yeah, what is this gonna do? I guess we just set that it's active and start a timer. All right, so we'll do something like cast spell. Spell ID, spell ID. Okay, so that needs to be set here. Duration. I don't know what the duration should be. Each spell needs to last for only a certain amount of time. It can't be permanent. So a minute? 2 minutes? 30 seconds even? I'm not sure. Hey, why not? Good to see you again. It was fun watching you play Minecraft. It made me want to play Minecraft. I talked to my wife about it. She's played the version on Switch before for like an hour, let's say, and she didn't find it all that fun. But we were playing with 4 people, so you have just a quarter of the TV screen, and I think they lower the render distance for everybody. So it's just not a great experience. The controls are kind of tough on the Switch, especially if you're new to the genre. So now I was like, hey, would you want to play on PC sometime? And she's like, no. That game is not fun for me. 4,000 miles of normal. Yeah, but it looked fun. All right, so for this, I think we're gonna do a duration of just 30 to start with. These are seconds, right? They probably are. Yeah, I'll write this down too. Figure out what we're going to do about the duration of the spells. I think 30 seconds could be good. Oh, we need to stop. We need to stop you from getting multiple rare items, probably. Yeah. Probably don't let this affect rare items. Then again, what do I care, right? So what if you get 2 of a rare item? No, you know what? Just delete that. I think it's fine. All right, good. So now this needs to be done. This is if active spell not equal to none. Update this based on the fill time. What do we have here? This is get the duration of this thing, which is always just gonna be 30. Let's just hard code that number before I forget. Private const double duration of spell. Yeah, we probably want this to be parameterized somehow. I don't know how yet. Then when it times out, we set the active spell to none. Anything else here? No, this is looking pretty good. I guess up here too. Load, this is going to be active spell equals save data by active spell. So now the enchanter's save data needs to change. Spell ID, active spell. Yeah. How can you play this game? Is there one of the play? Oh, you mean Skeleseller? How could you play that? Because I have a slightly longer answer than just the where can you download it. But I want to know you're talking about that first. So, well, I guess I should just answer anyway in case anyone's curious. You can technically play now via itch. However, this is a version from November 22nd, and it's been almost a month since then. So while you could play this, I suggest waiting for the next checkpoint, which is probably going to be mid-January. The reason why is because the two main goals out of this next checkpoint are to address the user experience and to address all the sort of game design, I'll just say issues, not necessarily problems. They're just things that we think we could do better. So yeah, I think it's probably worth holding off. But in January, if you want to play, by all means, you definitely should play that. Part of the reason I say this is because I want new eyes on the game when it's feedback that we haven't already gotten before. So I've been releasing feedback forms on each checkpoint, and I'm not going to scroll down all the way, but there are long form answers, and we got 24 responses for just the feedback form. Of those 24, maybe 18 people responded in long form. And of those 18 responses, we start seeing patterns emerge. Like, hey, this was confusing. This is too difficult. I'd like there to be a system that does X. So then we prioritize, here are all the things we need to do. And that's what we've done. And that's what led to all of these tasks that we have here and some more tasks that are on GitHub. So then getting new eyes on a better version of the game means that we'll get different feedback from what we would have gotten originally. So yeah, anyway, that's a very long answer. If you don't mind waiting, that would be great. Okay, so now how do we do this? We click a book and one of these crystals should, ooh, that's a problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Click this book and something should happen and it looked like nothing happened. You clicked the book. Oh, I never coded this. So inactive crystal dot cast spell. All right, can we run that? It's probably not going to cast the correct spell. I don't think we use the crystal rectangle anywhere. Also, I should probably just have this get built by default so I don't have to keep doing this. But I click this, that lit up orange. If I click this, it lights up green, and if I click that, it lights up blue. But it's starting to work. You can cast spells now. So we need to do two things. Actually, let's wait for this to clear out. I want to see if you can cast this again. Yeah, so I can click this many times as I want. It's not going to do anything unless one of these crystals is empty. Yeah. Okay. Casting a spell needs to set the texture of this correctly. Where do we do that? Is there... Oh, right there. So we're not going to change this at all, I guess? Not here, at least. Item category, what is that doing? Well, whoops. This should all be gone. And we could change this to for each crystals, crystal down in it. No argument given because I don't need this here anymore. Good. Actually, it doesn't even need it in it. Isn't that nice? So now in cast spell, what we can do is we can set the texture based on the spell data. All spell data dot get spell ID. And that's it. Should just be good. All right, let's try it out. So now the colors should match. And when I say match, I mean blue and blue, not like light blue and dark blue. We just are trying to get the general hue. We've got to make the actual colors match, but it should be pretty apparent that I've clicked the correct book. So let's see if that's working. So if I click blue here, this should turn blue. Good. Now if I click green twice, we see 2 green ones. Good. Now let's try that again. I'll just click orange 3 times. Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Cool. Yeah, so I'm hoping this system is clear. What's happening is these represent 3 different spells, and clicking it will take up one of your spell slots for 30 seconds. And you can stack 3 of the same spells on top of each other if you want to. So if you want to cast 3 different ones, you can, but you can cast the same ones. You also make the crystal get a different color depending on the spell. I wonder if we can make a white crystal and modulate to whatever we need. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is decent. I think all we should do is probably make it so that the books match the exact color. I guess they kind of do with the edges. But the orange one looks a lot brighter than the other ones, right? Maybe it's just... No, maybe it's just an illusion. I don't know. I mean, this last crystal that's never lighting up, this is your mana crystal. And it needs to eventually fill up, but we haven't done that yet. What do we owe this Tuesday pleasure? I want to work on Skeleseller as much as possible, and I think the enchanter would be a fun thing to stream. If I were just doing, you know, quote unquote boring work, I would probably have not streamed. All right, ensure that you have an empty mana crystal. We need to ensure that you have enough mana. Light up one of the crystals, decrease mana. Yeah. So we don't have the mana system at all. Change the texture of this. This is good. This is good. Yeah, we need to do the mana stuff now. Yeah, I think they look pretty good too. I might not change them. Are optimizing now for boring work on set days so we can always stream Tuesday, right? I'm going to try to stream a little more in the next few weeks, but I want to be careful about this because at the end of a day streaming, I feel a lot more tired than at the end of a day not streaming. And I need to manage my own energy so that I'm productive. So we'll see. This week, I might stream every day this week, every weekday. All right, so ensuring you have enough mana. We need a... Oh, interesting. This is going to be totally different, isn't it? The concept of a mana crystal, because it's going to always fill up. Okay, I think the mana crystal thing needs to be separate. How about this? For now, let's just store mana in here. How did I say I wanted to do this? May make sense to have mana start at 200. Each ability costs 100. Wait, what? That would mean you can only have 2 spells at a time, though. Maybe it starts at 200 and each ability costs like 90? Hang on a second. You could make each ability cost 1, and then you should be able to cast it whenever the old spells end. I'm not sure what to do here. So okay, here's what I'm thinking. Garbage slime will eat items and give you money. And the way we had this work is there's a hunger meter, and when the meter is empty, it's willing to give you, well, it'll give you 1% of the value of the item. And when it's full, it'll give you like 125% of the value of the item. So this actually goes beyond what you'd get from selling the item. With these crystals that we have, what we could do is give you 200 mana and have a spell cost 50 mana. And that way, you can't actually ever cast 4 spells at once. You don't have 4 spell crystals. You have 3 spell crystals and a mana crystal. But it would make it so that if you did store up your mana, you would then come back to the game and be able to use several spells. So I kind of like that idea, but maybe you pay money and you upgrade to this amount or something. Anyway, yeah, I think we probably need to tell the player how much mana they have. So how about this? Let's just have it be, you get 100 mana and spells cost 30. I think that's pretty good. the 3 active ones and you click another book, should preempt the leftmost. I think they should need to wait. Because the spells shouldn't last for too long, I'm hoping. Although the more I think about it, the more I think players are probably going to be like, I want spells to last for longer. You'll let you cast multiple, provided the refill time is less than that. What's for longer than a minute? Let you cast multiple. I think this is just based on the mana regeneration rate. So we give you 100 mana. We say spells cost 30. And then we say, want you using a spell once every couple of minutes, maybe? That means you get 30 mana per 2 minutes. So it's really 15 mana per minute, or 1 mana every 4 seconds. I don't know. We'll have to see what this feels like. Yeah, we'll have to see what it feels like. I think it's a good starting point, though. And we could just multiply everything by 4. So it's 400 mana. You spells cost 120. And then 1 mana per second is what you get. That might be a slightly better way of doing this. Let's try that in our basic math that we have. Probably need to refactor enchanter crystal so that there's a new base class that represents all of the crystal stuff, and then enchanter crystal and mana crystal inherit from that. That way we can separate out the spell stuff too. All right, but like I said, we're going to do this simply for right now. We're going to just say private int mana is going to start at max mana. We need a constant for this. Do we have any spell stuff in here? Do you want to allow to always have spells? If so, spells would need to last those 2 minutes so players can keep it going. No, I don't think so. I want spells to be something that you use when you realize there's a throughput problem. But here's the issue, is no matter what we design, players are going to get this in their hands and they're going to think something different. And I kind of want to try to predict that a little bit, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that would feel. So the old enchanter was drag any item, get buff. Buff lasted for 60 seconds. And why people thought this was annoying, I think, is because at any time you've got items. So at any time you could get a buff, and this system is just sort of punishing you and making you do this all the time. With the new enchanter, it's themed totally differently. You have to wait for mana and then cast the spell when you're ready. But since it's a mana pool, you could wait for longer than when it's ready and not be wasting anything. I think the issue people had in this was that you were wasting your potential buffs by just not being active and dragging items over there. So I think that's what's nice about having a mana pool. And I think it's going to feel really impactful when you use one of these spells or multiple spells. And we just need to figure out what feels right. And I think it's just going to be tweaking some numbers. I don't think we're going to have to like remake the whole system. So like when you click the customer spell, it should probably spawn, let's say like 2 customers. Maybe they move faster and maybe they start at the portal. And they would need to vanish, I guess. We probably need some special logic for that. But it's like those 2 customers might immediately just start buying stuff and you'll feel like, okay, cool, this helped. Even if it's only for 30 seconds, they just bought 5 items they wouldn't have bought. So yeah, I want to see how it feels. But I'm hopeful about the system. All right, so max mana. Inactive enchanter crystal region. Is this used anywhere? It's not. Okay, we might need to delete that too. All right, well, we don't have any other enchanter stuff, so I could just put this anywhere. So let's put it here. Public constant starting max mana equals 400. Public constant spell mana cost. equals what I say? 120? Yeah. And public const int mana regenerated per second equals 1. So it takes you exactly 2 minutes to get a spell. Cool. So let's go use some of these values. Game constant starting max mana. We're starting you at maximum is what this means, which I think is good because that means when you unlock the enchanter, you can actually use it right off the bat. I think it'd be frustrating if you had to wait another 2 minutes. So now spell mana cost, you need to have enough to be able to use the spell. If mana is less than game constants dot spell mana cost, then play a bonk sound. We can just combine these two if statements. Because I don't think there's going to be different bonk sounds for this. Yeah. So that's it. You don't have enough mana. Now we subtract your mana. And then every so often in, I guess, a timer. I want to do this in the simplest possible way for right now. So I'm just going to do it this way. We're going to say if stat computations dot percent chance, there's just a 1% chance every frame that you get a little bit more mana. Yeah. Because we're going to change, this is all going to happen through a different system entirely. So it doesn't matter too much right now. Game constants mana regeneration per second. And set this actually equal to math.min of the max mana and your current mana plus this. This needs to be an F. And I think we're pretty good. What is this? Math doesn't exist. I've deleted math. Okay, so we have mana regeneration. We have mana cost, and we make sure that you have enough mana. So now all we need to do is print out how much mana you have at any given point because there's no way to render it in the world yet. You have that much mana. Let's go try it. Now, a 1% chance every frame when we're running at 60 frames per second would be roughly a 50% chance that this happens per second. Or no, sorry, no. It's basically guaranteed every second, pretty much, because of how cumulative probabilities work. So let's go unlock the enchanter. And now we should see mana going up. We don't, which is, oh, there it goes. Should be like once per second. So when we cast a spell, now it says you have 281 mana, goes up about once per second. We cast another spell. Now we have less. We cast another spell. So now we need to speed this up a little bit. But we don't have enough mana to cast another spell yet. So when I click this book, it shouldn't do anything. Yeah, nothing's happening. All right, now let's really speed it up so we get enough mana. I'm just going to keep clicking this. It's going to take forever, apparently. Oh, wait, it's going to take forever because we're not speeding up the mana regeneration rate because it's in process, not physics process. Oh, so we just need to wait another like 40 seconds. Oh, well. We could probably conclude that it's working. Yeah, I don't think this is a problem. Okay, so make sure you have enough mana. Light up one of the crystals, decrease mana from the mana crystal. We technically can't do that yet. Provide the effects of the spell. Delete the enchanter crystal from battle. We did that. Get rid of this code. What's this code? Oh, the vault stuff at the bottom of town. Yeah, it's not needed. Oh, what's that? Grant items, item IDs. Huh, interesting. It's not needed. I just didn't highlight all of the code, I guess. Yeah. Some of that. May need to update automating setup of game scenario. That's like a final polish task sort of thing. Just put this down here. Why is it so hard to drag this below the final thing? Uh-oh, that just broke everything. How is that even possible? I didn't even edit the issue. I don't, whatever. Show a tooltip, change the dialogue. Now we have to make the mana crystal. All right, I'm definitely feeling like I want to take a break. I also want to make this mana crystal. What do? Because I don't think I'm going to stream the whole day today. I think that'd be overkill. Plus, I think it's a bad idea to go from streaming, 3x per week to streaming 5x per week. I think that's too much of a jump. So okay, I have an idea. How about I work on the mana crystal and then get lunch and then stop streaming? Yeah, probably that. Well, I stopped streaming before getting lunch. You know what I mean? This is all looking good. I like this a lot. Yep. We fixed pretty much all the commented out stuff. Yep. That's all great. Cool. Happy with that. Happy with that. Not very happy with this. This is like move this to the mana crystal once we've made it, which we're about to. This is looking good. Good. Cool. Yeah. The town thing can be checked in on its own. Stop granting items for the battle simulator. Items aren't used for enchanting anymore, so there's no reason to do this. Cool. So this is going to be add mana. This is a stopgap system that just adds mana as a number that increases roughly once per second. We eventually need the proper mana crystal. Yeah, I'll check that in. Okay, here's what I want to do. I want there to be a base class for the enchanter crystal that just handles things about... Oh, the tooltips will be different too, right? Yeah, that just handles things like rendering the crystal. So what do we name these crystals? One is a mana crystal. The other is a spell crystal, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty good. And they'll both inherit from enchanter crystal. So mana crystal and spell crystal. Yeah, I like that idea. All right, how are we gonna do this? They both look the same in the scenes, right? So I guess the active crystals for these, we could make a different scene. How else would I want to do this? Yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll have an inheritance structure here. Okay. All right, so let's split this up a little bit. Where are the scenes? Game, scenes, town. I'll make an enchanter folder and we'll move the enchanter crystal there. Can we do this through Godot? Or is this like practically impossible? Change split mode. What? That's kind of interesting. All right, so now I can take enchanter crystal.tscn and put it into the enchanter scene. Yeah. Neat. Wow, if it wasn't for that split mode thing, it probably would have been very difficult. Okay, so now we want to inherit from this scene. So we do this. And we call this mana crystal, I guess. Just save it as mana crystal. And we're going to need to give it a different script eventually. And then we do the exact same thing. Click that, and call this spell crystal. All right, now we start differentiating the scripts a little bit. This part's always a little annoying to do, but got to do it. We should probably save this in a different location too, huh? Because now we have another folder in town, I think. Enchanter. Yeah, source enchanter. Let's put enchanter crystal there. There we go. All right, so that changes the namespace that we want for this. Towns, enchanter. All right, so we need 3 classes. We need mana crystal, spell crystal, and the enchanter crystal. Let's now open all 3 of those up. Put the root one here, and then mana crystal. Cool. So this one's fine. This one is not fine. Needs to be like this, mana crystal. And spell. We don't need this anymore. All right, so as the root class, what is it going to be in charge of? It's going to get this stuff, so we're definitely going to need this here. Cast spell is only going to be anything on the spell crystal, so I guess delete it from here. Update crystal fill based on percent based on time left. This is not a thing either. This is only for the spell crystal. Mana crystal is going to go in the opposite direction. Yeah. Load from save data. No, we need specific ones for that. Update crystal fill based on time left. This is going to have to change too. Set crystal fill percent. Yeah, we have that. At least timer timeout's not going to be there. Crystal width. Was that for the fill percent thing? Yeah. And then inactive crystal height. Okay. All right, all that's fine. We just don't want the timer stuff here. So we got to go change this on these to do base dot ready and get rid of all that stuff. And do the same thing over here. Oops. They're going to have timers for different reasons. All right, save data does not need to be here. Tooltip info. I think we delete that too. Yeah. Duration string. Delete that too. Active spell isn't needed. Item category isn't needed. No timer needed. All right, I think that's a pretty good base class. It does very little, but it has the set crystal fill percent. I think that's important enough. So now we've got to very carefully remove things from here. This duration of spell is needed in the mana crystal. Item category is never needed. This doesn't have this. There's no duration. There's none of this stuff. We're going to eventually need the save data. Rest of that's fine. Process needs to update this. Not based on time left, though. Update crystal fill percent. It's based on how much mana you have. We don't care about the loading yet. The percent is going to be... This is a one-shot timer. This can't be a one-shot timer. One shot is false. Timeout on timer, timeout. Yep, that's fine. Where do we start this? We don't ever start this, do we? No, we don't. We should start it in ready. Timer.start 1. So every 1 second, it's going to update the crystal fill percent. So this isn't actually needed anymore. On timeout, we don't do this. We don't set it to 0. We set it to your current mana, which we don't even have. Isn't this fun? I guess the mana should be stored in the mana crystal. That makes sense. So public int mana get private set. Sounds good. So set this to mana divided by game constants dot max mana. Where is it? Starting max mana. All right, then we need this to be floating point so that we actually get the percentage set correctly. So this isn't needed because we never use this anywhere. Set crystal fill percent isn't needed. And that's it. Okay, this hasn't been too bad, to be honest. Yeah. This should now be a protected function instead of private. And now we go over to this one and fix this. We don't need that or that. Keep you on your toes. Item category that's not needed from here. Active mod. This is all looking fine. Cast spell. This would set the texture. Okay, this should also go in the root one, I guess. Protected, void, set, crystal texture. How does this work? It's got to take in a rectangle? Yeah. Okay, so let's copy this out of here. Rect to crystal rect. There. So now we call this from, well, the mana crystal should do this too, but it should be set to the rainbow one. And I don't know what the rainbow one is. Do we even use the rainbow one? No, we only use it as the icon. So it is 2 beyond the green one. Okay, so where's the green one? The green one is there, and it's 2 beyond this. So let's just copy this for now. And 2 beyond this means plus 32. Okay, cool. So that one should be good. Now over here we call set crystal texture data crystal rect. Okay, we can delete this stuff now. Looking good so far. Yep, looking good so far. Sounds good, sounds good. Sounds good, sounds good, and delete this. All right, those are our classes. Now we need to make one of these a mana crystal, which means we need to go change the entire enchanter den, because these were just enchanter crystals. I wonder if there's an easy way to do this, because what I want to do is keep the same positions, but I want to change their types. And I think we could do this ourselves through here, but it's probably risky. Enchanter crystal. Yeah, I'll just get their transforms. What's it called? Position? Yeah, these stage first and try. I was just gonna copy these things off. That way I can't lose anything. That's all we really need. But yeah, I could stage. Okay, so now we delete all of this. We need the same names. Let's just call it a mana crystal, a crystal. There. So now we instantiated new scenes. We need the mana crystal. Put that there. And then 3 other crystals, which are going to be spell crystals. Spell crystal goes there, there, there. Then access all of these as unique names. Why can't I select these? Cool. Then give them the same names they had before. Crystal 1, crystal 2, crystal 3. Now get all the old positions, so I guess we can delete this stuff. Mana crystal, crystal 1, crystal 2, crystal 3. Now we load this up, click this button. All right, so we got the crystals there now. And that should be that. What am I missing? Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Mana shouldn't be pulled from the enchanter den anymore. Yeah, this can be deleted. These should now be the correct kinds of crystals. Which means we should probably be careful about all of the usage of those things. Crystal, get next inactive crystal. This has to be a spell crystal now, and we should probably rename this to like next inactive spell crystal. All right, good. This needs to change. Fun. This is actually fine. Any others? This is okay. I'm going to change that eventually. There is none of this. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, crystal type should never be used. All right, mana comes from the mana crystal now. Mana crystal dot mana. We should probably just make this public. Oh, but anytime you change the mana, you need to update the crystal. So never mind. What am I doing? Well, we just need a custom setter. All right, I'll write that down. When setting mana crystal dot mana, we need to change the fill percent. So modify the setter. Inactive crystal dot cast spell. This will only work if it was a spell crystal. Any other enchanter crystal references in here? Only in that, and that's fine. We're doing pretty well here. There's no mana regeneration per second. We got to put that in, the mana crystal. In fact, none of this is doing anything right now. Mana plus equal game constants regeneration. Got it. This shouldn't be hard coded. We can even just change this in the scene. We don't even need to do this. All right, but let's try running. Let's see what happens. Chat is very quiet. I wonder if it's just the Tuesday blues or if it's me yammering on about crystals. It doesn't even build now. Unable to cast enchanter crystal to type mana crystal. Line 79. I mean, I'm about to be done with this stuff, so it shouldn't hopefully make a huge difference. What is going on with this? Why is this a problem? Did I not instantiate this with the right node? Oh, do I need to run from here? Maybe I do. What is this? Mana crystal. Oh, these don't have the right things. Oh, yeah. This needs to be a mana crystal, and this needs to be a spell crystal. Very vibe and lurk mode. No, it's totally fine. I shouldn't even comment on it, really. I don't have a problem with it. It makes it sound like I have a problem with it. There's an update to Roar 2 today. Community seems fairly happy. First step of fixing DLC. 2 more phases to go through still. It's just funny how he got to this state, right? Like, I would have probably bought that game. I probably would have played it a ton. But the reviews were so negative, and the community must have agreed. At least they're fixing things. It would be a shame if they're like, well, that's it. We just killed the franchise. Hey, Warner. What am I working on? I am doing well. I am working on the enchanter. So we had a system before this, and I don't know if you remember this, it doesn't matter, but there were some item pots here, and you would drag an item into the pot, and it would give you a buff for some amount of time. By the way, this is a problem. We have some orange bleeding out from behind here. But there were a lot of problems with that. So we've changed this to now, and there's no indication of this in the game yet. But you get a certain amount of mana filling up in this crystal, which is only kind of sort of working. But it fills up very slowly. Also, this green, it should be rainbow. How did I mess that up? Did I never add? No, I added 32. Okay, I might have messed something up. Anyway, you click a spell book, and you're going to spend some mana and activate a spell. So here we've activated a spell, but there's no actual spells yet. But this one would increase the number of customers in your town for 30 seconds. So let's say you have too many items in your shop, you would use this. Still had fun with the DLC unreleased, just wasn't as amazing as it should have been. Yeah, I want to wait for at least maybe 1 or 2 more of those phases to be done and then probably try it with my friends. I think they can recover. I think there is a lot of passion in the Risk of Rain community. So I think they're going to, as much as it's possible for gamers to hold a company accountable, they're going to hold them accountable. Okay, so why is it not a rainbow crystal? Mana crystal sets this 240, 192. Is that not 240? No, it's not. Oh, I must have picked from the wrong. the wrong spell data. Okay, so that'll make it rainbow, but now why doesn't it start filled in? Oh, I know why. Because mana crystal never says to set the mana to gain constants at starting max mana. Yeah. Okay, so now you start at full mana. It's going to be rainbow colored. And we need to properly handle setting the mana. So let's go do that really fast. Oh, the only way to do this is to keep track of a private mana, right? Private int mana equals gain constants. All right, so now delete this. Get is going to return the mana. Set is going to set the mana and then set the fill percent correctly. We should probably just set this to update fill percent. Update crystal fill percent based on mana. Okay. Also, okay, and then here. All right, nice. I think that'll look really good. Let's try that out. Did I make the game engine? No, I did not make the game engine. It's running on Godot. And Godot is a free open source game engine. So if you wanted to make something based on this too, you totally could. This being the game engine, of course, not the Skeleseller IP. All right, so now we should start. Oh, that's broken. Oh, it's broken because the other crystal doesn't have a stand beneath it. Man. Man. All right, I guess we just draw on the stand then. Yeah, that's all we have to do. All right, so are my art skills good enough for this? Is the stand ever a standalone sprite? No pun intended. I don't see it. All right, well, how do we do this then? Let's do this. Let's make a new layer out of this thing. So copy and paste, and then two new layer. And then in the old layer, we delete that. Why won't this delete? What's going on? Oops. I think I messed, yeah, I messed everything up. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, okay, I've broken everything. I'm gonna just do this from scratch. Two new layer, turn that off, click this, select this again and delete it all. Then copy this in. It's gotta be lined up exactly though. Where was this? 241. 240 is a multiple of 6, right? So this needs to be at 273. Yeah. And is it at the bottom? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. And then we just turn this on and it should look good. Yes, perfect. Now just anchor this stuff down. Anchor, anchor. Merge down. Yeah. And then overwrite and we should be fine. Skeleseller. Very different. Missed the shadow of the stone on the right. Oh, did I? Whoops. You're right. Thank you. Yeah. Good call. I would not have seen that. This is like the quickest time to point. Enjoy your newfound wealth that is useful for nothing. But still, I appreciate it. All right, so we won't have the shadow because I'm not going to rerun the game just now, but let's see. We don't have the, oh, I know. We didn't click Godot. All right, now everything should be fixed. We should have the shadow. We should have the rainbow crystal. It should start filled up. Well, it doesn't look like it starts filled up because I guess in ready we need to do this. Update crystal fill percent. All right, now let's run that and then close this. Yeah, I wasn't trying to delete the rainbow crystal. I just wanted to have a stand underneath it. All right, I think the shadow's there. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like it's there. I mean, it's there in the graphic, right? Yeah, I couldn't have messed it up then. So back to the game. If we click this, we should see this crystal deplete by about a third. Yeah. And if we had all the other books here too, click, click, nice. Look at that. It's pretty cool. And then the mana crystal fills up very, very slowly. Yeah. Now you have to wait, what is it, 15 seconds to be able to use another spell? Because even at 8x speed, we're speeding up a 2-minute process. Excuse me. All right, so let's say everything's coded already, because it's not, but I want to imagine that it is. The little dance that it's doing, I know. So if I was like, oh man, my warehouse is empty, let's go start some battles. So I go here. Maybe we enable auto battle. Let's enable that. Let's start another battle over there. Anyway, so we got some battles going. Let's force a win so that we can enable auto battle. So we're getting some items. I might be like, man, I want more items. I click this book for 30 seconds now. Instead of generating just 3 items, I might have generated 4 or 6. And then this battle might be 1, and I might generate another bunch of items. It's taking forever. Also, I know I'm covering it with my camera. Which algorithm do you use to fill up those stone pixels? These ones? This is just, what's happening here is we're revealing more of a filled in graphic on top of a gray graphic. So it's not too crazy. I can show you in the editor. So here's our graphic. And then we have this inactive crystal. And what's happening is we're basically just expanding. Where is it? Yeah, we're expanding the height of this. Do you see this? So by me just increasing the height of this graphic, what I'm doing is it looks like I'm filling in a graphic, but I'm actually not. I'm just expanding the height of a graphic that's on top of another one. So it's kind of just a trick, and that's why we run into this problem where you can see this other one peeking out from behind it. Ideally, that never happens, but I don't think we can easily stop that right now. Unless the transforms are somehow fractional, in which case that would be the problem. But no, that's not the case. Yeah. But yeah, this is working pretty well. So anyway, you'd fill up your warehouse and you'd be like, oh man, now I need more workers. And you click this one and you get some more workers for a little bit. Although I guess 30 seconds might not be long enough for workers to do what they need to do. Hard to say. Yeah, it'd be enough for them to make like 2 trips. And then they would just disappear and drop the items. All right, might need to rethink the durations of some of these spells. That's how I had to make buttons on websites with hover effects. Oh man. And then what's the last one? Customers. Yeah, so you'd click this. Customers might pop out of the portal, pretty much just like this. Except for I guess they pop out over here. Yeah, okay. I don't know if this is... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Because I'm not actually saying anything. Also, what's this? Rect 2 size is negative. This is not supported. It's not going to tell me where this happened? Seriously? How fun. I don't know where that would have even taken place. Maybe here? Can you go negative in mana? We should probably just set this to a minimum size. 1F minus percent times the height. So we want to clamp that for sure. Maybe just float value equals clamp 1f minus percent between 0 and 1. I don't know if that's even going to fix that. Transform maybe fractionally in the enchanter scene. It might be, but I don't think so. No, it isn't. No, yeah, because I put in integer amounts and it should be snapped to a particular tile coordinate. It's probably just something going wrong with like a fractional zoom. And yeah, multiplying by the number that ends in 8 versus the number that ends in 2 or something. What was I going to do? What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so anyway, we had these spells, right? Here was the original idea, was customer spell would be something like +2 customers for X seconds. Worker spell is pretty much the same thing. And then the item spell would be like plus 10% chance to roll more items. Anyway, there's another way we could kind of do this. Instead of having it be a customer spell, we could just say like an item sale spell. And it's just sell 3 items immediately from your stores. And the worker spell could be a stocking spell. It probably should be named differently, but something like stock 5 items from your warehouse into shops. And the item spell could still be what it was. So they wouldn't even have durations. In which case, then all of the design of the enchanter would have to be very different. But ignoring the enchanter stuff, I wonder which of these ideas sounds better. The game entity going and doing that thing, or just the thing getting done? Yeah, they're all items, I guess. In fact, we could just delete the crystals entirely. Just have a rainbow crystal. Yeah, so the question is, should the spells go through the existing systems, e.g. customers, buying, workers, stocking, and battles being won? Or should you just get their effects immediately? So, pros of going through the systems. There's a visual aspect to customers and workers that may be satisfying. And this is minor, but it wouldn't negate the work we just did on spell crystals. Yeah, very, very minor. I don't think this is worth considering even, but it is a pro. Cons, the durations need to be just right for them to be effective. It may be confusing to see some customers disappear. Customers or workers disappear. E.g., a worker may be walking to a shop with an item when they disappear, possibly causing more work for you. Oh God, I think I'm leaning toward this new method. Oh man. Yeah, cons, well, no. I like it going through the normal game flow. Yeah, I think the bit about the durations being just right is like a customer needs to have enough time to go to an item and buy it. And they walk very slowly, so we need to like turn off idling and everything. We need to eventually delete them. What if they complete X amount of jobs instead? If they complete X amount of jobs, I think that would be better, but then we wouldn't have this crystal system still. So like you wouldn't have a few of these crystals filled up, because I guess you still could. But you need to know that it's only for them buying, let's say, 4 or 5 items or something like that. Complete their current state before disappearing or leaving. Yeah, those are other changes we could make. Some changes to alleviate the disappearance. Have the customer disappear only after the duration runs out and they just and they've just purchased an item. And have the worker disappear only when they're not holding an item. And then another thing is we could make sure the tasks are actually done. Or we could do what Campbell Soup said, which is rather than have a duration, have a number of tasks that the entity will do. So customers may buy 4 items. Workers may stock 4 items or something like that. I think they poof into existence. They should disappear as well, possibly as if they're possessed by the enchanter. Yeah, well, originally what I was thinking is for your workers or customers that you add through these spells to be effective, they've got to start near where they belong. So, for example, a worker should probably start near the warehouse. So, okay, the portal works. And a customer should probably start near a shop. So, probably also the portal works. But then maybe we need to speed up customers or something. So, what I was thinking is they just appear from the portal and then they either poof out of existence or they go back to the portal or something. Hey, Sean. But I'm not sure about this. I think this pro is so this is impactful, but if we did just go with this idea where things just happen, so for example, let's say we have a bunch of potions in the shop. Let me go build the other shops. Because right now my workers are doing nothing. There. And let's do this as well. Okay, so anyway, we have a bunch of items in the shop right now, and we're like, oh my God, there aren't enough customers. With that spell where you could just I just sell 4 things at once. It would be pretty cool, and it would be an immediate effect, and it'd be very clear, I think. And we could even bundle up how many things just sold and put it right here. Like you click the thing and it says you just sold 4 items for 703 gold. Same thing with the worker thing. You just click this and you all of a sudden see your warehouse lose like 4 or 5 items and they just go into the shops. I think that would be pretty cool and it would be good feedback. And there'd be less to save and load too. But yeah, then you wouldn't see a bunch of workers come out of nowhere. It'd be weird to have the enchanter open a portal next to him and have the customers and workers spawn there instead. I don't think it'd be weird, but it would be farther from where they need to be. So for example, if you had a bunch of potions in the shop and you're like, oh, I need the potions, having customers come out of here means they'd have to like walk all the way over there. Maybe the workers or customers can get a semi-transparent sprite. Yeah, we could make them look a little different. Yep, the transparency I think could potentially help too. So you'd know that they're sort of just ghosts. They could even just look like ghosts. It could be that you're summoning ghosts, like, then they're buying your items for some reason. I don't know why ghosts would buy your items, but that's not a question we really have to answer. And for workers, we could make them. I mean, we already have the cloning system, so we could just use the cloning system and just say, like, oh, you got a couple more workers out of the portal. Doing X items and X tasks, it makes less sense to spawn next to the enchanter. Yeah, so I wonder what's best out of this stuff. Doing it based on tasks. Doing it based on. Well, I think one thing's clear. We can't have it be based on the system we just had. It can't just be that there's time and then they just disappear mid-task and they drop an item on the ground. That'd be very unsatisfying. Yeah. Hey, Matt. Yeah, surprise stream indeed. An hour task at the end of the you'll do. Talking about taking more breaks. I know. Well, it was breaks during a stream, not necessarily from streaming. I think either spawn them and do X tasks or do the instant sell. Yeah. Yeah. I think the other con here, or I guess the pro for this is For items, at least, it lets you choose where you're doing battle to get specific items. Otherwise, we'd just be spawning like random items in that you might not care about. Hey, Tigan, you can give workers and customers a speed buff to be visual, and the player can time it when they're near the shops. Actually, it's another way of doing this, I guess. Yeah. Could just theme this as a short-lived speed buff or like behavior change. Oh my god, I cannot type anymore. Behavior change buff for existing entities. Yeah, so what if customers just started like it'd be kind of funny to see this. They just had like a trail of fire behind them because they're moving so fast and they go and buy like everything. I like that too. I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I think that can actually start stacking interestingly with other systems too. Because if you think about it, the number of customers you have in your town is based on this buff. So you start with 2, you work your way up to, just look at the table, 3, then 4, then 5, then 7, then 10. So if it's a percent speed boost to all of them, then when you have 2 customers, it's going to be the same relative effects as when you have 10. But if in the old system, we were going to add 2 customers, which is much more impactful at the beginning of the game and much less impactful at the end of the game. So yeah, I think that's a good system. I'm going to give you a point for the suggestion because I'm probably going to use that system. And we already have a way of coding speed buffs in the game because I already did it. So I think that solves every problem that we had. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with that. So let's write that down. So customers, it's going to be make make customers move X% faster and maybe make them less likely to idle or they can't idle. I don't even think we need to tell players that they can't idle, but I think it'd be a little bit of a shame if you use this spell and customers just standing there for like 10 seconds. So anyway, that's spell 1. We're not going to do this anymore. Spell 2 is going to be make workers move X% faster. I don't think there's anything special we need to do there. Yeah. And spell number 3 can still be more items from battle. Yeah, so now we should write in this conclusions thing. Yeah, make them move faster. So the reason why customers and workers just move faster is because it may be confusing if we create new entities and then did something just make a sound? Did you all hear something? I heard like a ping sound. I don't know where that came from. Huh. Maybe confusing if we create new entities and have them disappear. And it would be frustrating to have entities disappear mid-task, e.g. a worker is holding an item and poofs out of existence, then drops the item in a random spot. And it scales based on how many customers and workers you have. Although we could have done that anyway. We could have just said plus 20% customers in town. After having made a customer idle, we could do the same to make the worker and first adventurer idle at the beginning of the game. Oh, and just not look like they're walking. And stop and stare at weird things. Well, they're supposed to be like thinking about coffee or dreaming or falling asleep or I don't know what. Something like that. But yeah, Kevin suggested that we add proper idle states to the workers and adventurers for use in the beginning of the game. Yeah. Would it make sense to let adventurers finish their restock task before going into battle? I don't think so because already it says that they have to walk to the portal. And imagine if the adventurer is at the portal but holding an item and then they walk all the way over to here, but there's actually no space in the shop. So they're just hanging out at the shop. And meanwhile, they're just like Why is a battle not starting? Then a customer finally walks over there, and then your adventurer drops off the item and then walks into the battle. Yeah, I think I think it'd be potentially a lot of waiting, especially because one of the changes we're going to make is to allow up to 6 adventurers to go into battle. So if all 6 are holding a potion or something, you might need to wait for new customers to even enter town. Yeah. Idle animations rather than just sitting still is probably a good idea. Yeah, yeah. Also, it's more flavor, which I think would be nice. Yeah. Why is this? Oh, mana can go beyond maximum. That's why that bug was happening. I never stopped that. Yeah, I think that's why that's happening. Mana plus, oh my god, yeah. I did this in the other place. I can't believe I didn't do this here. Math.min mana plus that game constants dot max mana. I probably shouldn't have that be named starting max mana because we're using it as max everywhere. Yeah, I'll just rename this to max mana. Where all of my zombie bombs are gonna spawn. Zabombies. Zabombies. Yeah. Yeah, Tygan, thank you for the clutch suggestion. I think this is gonna be really good. I think that's probably it for this morning stream though. This is now done. Yeah. Looking at the rest of this list, I think we're looking at least a day and a half of work. And I do have the afternoon open. It's just, do I want to stream? I don't think so. Yeah. I think I just want to eat lunch and then be in peace because tomorrow should be a full stream day. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, it's been good. I think. Oh wait, I didn't fill out the journal. Okay, not fill out the journal. Worked on the new enchanter. Pretty happy with my progress. Only streamed in the morning. All right, you know who we're rating? We're rating Kit Boga. Yeah. I don't know why I even scrolled through my list. Because I'm not going to be like, no, you know what? Let's not raid Kit. We're going to raid Kit. Actually, I wonder if I should do a hangout stream at some point. But for now, I think this is good. Thank you all for watching. This has been great. I don't normally stream on Tuesday, but I will be back online tomorrow. And tomorrow should be a full day of streaming, by which I mean like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, stream where I'm not working. Pretty much never done that. So if you haven't seen Kit Boga before, he's a great streamer. He does scam baiting. Very, very different content from this. I don't know what he's up to today. Probably some AI related thing based on what I'm seeing on his stream. But yeah, I will see you later. Goodbye, everybody.